You either grow or die. And I'll choose grow every time.
At least 4 billion useless eaters will be eliminated by the year 2050.
Whenever a truth is heard, there's no going back. You are the main character in the video game of life.
I personally don't believe anything they say, right down to the God they claim we worship.
I'm still waiting for somebody to show me gas pressure without a container.
None of the math adds up.
You could stack up all their math books, all their science books, and even put all their degrees stacked up on top of that, and you still wouldn't be high enough to see the curvature.
This is exactly why grounding is so important.
It's all dualistic.
We see too far.
We're just regular people who know we're being lied to. We're tired of it.
The bottom line is, there's only one choice left, and that's to dismantle this whole thing from the top down.
You're waiting.
Yeah, waiting for the right time. So, go to what?
My camera was going all wonky. Had to fix it.
I hate that camera. We have the same camera, by the way.
I know. Thanks, bro.
We're gay.
Thanks.
Phoneboothpodcast.substack.com. You got Phone Booth Podcast, Philosophy King Podcast, Dualistic Podcast, Here's the Thing Podcast, Pick Is In Podcast, Mind of Manners Podcast, Fasting Fake, Fisting Fake, Detoxing the Matrix, and then Translucid. And then over here, you can also message us for either for live streams or offline or whatever, personal, private, whatever you name it, it's all there. And then you can also go to the merch store right there in the tab. Check out that shit. And then also go to canambullion.com where you can find gold, silver, platinum coins and bars and all kinds of good metals.
Precious metals. Precious.
Sir, yes, precious metals is what it is.
And before we start, let me thank Graham for telling me on Twitter that the stream didn't start when it was supposed to, even though this time it was something different. Had he let us know last time like he wanted to, it would have saved it. So thank you, man. Appreciate you. I see you in there. Thank you for letting me know that the stream wasn't starting. Please always do that. Appreciate it.
Yes, very good. But go to Can-Am Bullion for your gold, silver, and platinum coins and bars. canambullion.com. And then also go to Phone Booth Podcast on Spotify. Check that out. You got all the episodes video.
Spotify has audio and video now, if you don't know. One of the benefits of Spotify, just like our Substack, is that you can open it, lock your phone, and it keeps playing so it stays in your pocket. It doesn't drain batteries like YouTube and Rumble do. So, Substack's
Very good.
Spotify good. YouTube, Rumble bad. Anyway.
Yes.
Yes.
And we got the Von Conspirator.
Woo! What's going on, my man? How you been?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Now that we're rolling here. I don't know how long it's been since last time. Not that long. Hasn't been that long.
A few months.
Yeah,
I'm not sure exactly.
Maybe 3 months, 4 months.
Something like that. But so you have something totally different to talk about tonight than last time. So I don't even know if Vince knows what's going on here. This is going to be great.
I have no idea.
So you wrote a fucking book, huh?
Yeah, since the last time. I think it's been about 6 months because that's when I started the Captain Cook research. Dang. But yeah, so I'm about to come out with the novel called Beyond the Charts based on his life and all the conspiracies around it, right?
Whose life? Whose?
Captain Cook.
No, I know
So it's
that.
Captain. Yep, Captain James Cook.
Let me just say before we move on, I
Yeah.
find
So
it very funny that when they start Star Trek, they call him James Kirk and James Cook to like distract people or to pay homage to the dude who was really testing the boundaries. I don't know what it is, but I definitely think there's a connection there. But anywho,
yeah. So
so
the captain the Captain Cook story funny, ironically. Uh, the way that we found out about all of the different rabbit holes was because someone asked if there was a connection between Captain Cook and Captain Hook from the Peter Pan
Ah.
yeah.
show or whatever. And then we looked into Kirk, and that name was based after him too, loosely. So that's where it all started.
Mm.
And how do you go from there to writing a book? And how do you I we've had a few people on here who have written books, and I'm gonna ask you the same question. How do you motivate to do that? And what's like I know you can't do the whole thing, but what's the process of writing a book? Like, do you set aside time and say I'm gonna do it this much every day, like it's a job? Or do you just do it when you can? Do you do it on a computer? Do you write it by hand and then transfer it? Like, how does this happen, man? This fascinates me that someone can write a fucking book. Love it.
Right. So what it started was just talking about conspiracies, and we got on Captain Cook, and then that fish rolled into a couple days where all we were talking about was Captain Cook and how many different conspiracies we found and like new names, and then looking those people up. And then after like a couple weeks of like always finding something new, I said, I don't think this rabbit hole ever stops. So I started collecting all of the writings from his original time period, because I said what they put on the internet is actually rewritten by the government, right? They paid this guy named Hawksworth to take all of the information and put it into like a 4 volume series, right? So I was like, I want to read what he read and be able to deduce my own story. So that's where it all started. And then months of building timelines and then looking people up. But then now we're here where it's written.
One stupid question. Do you think it was deliberate that they made Captain Hook and like close to Captain Cook or whatever his name is?
So
Like that.
the story is that the person who wrote Captain Hook was like from the same area, and like that person, Captain Cook is just like everyone talks about him. So it was
Yeah.
just loosely based off of the story. But I don't think there's any real big conspiracy there. But I mean, one could
So
argue,
is
I
the
guess.
story about Hook similar to Cook, or is it different?
Like they both die
Yeah.
on an island, right? Like they both, were named Captain Hook Cook.
Yeah.
And then
Why I'm
there's like
asking
similar
is it?
boat names.
Yeah. Why I'm asking is like, are they trying to like hijack his name and lead it to somewhere else with Hook, with Captain Hook instead? A different story.
I mean, like that's a potential. We don't really know,
Yeah.
but there's no like real conspiracy information in Peter Pan that ties to Cook. It's just it's phrased as more accidental, or however you want to put it, just from how she wrote the story. I believe it was a her.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, Peter Pan has
But
its
then you
own
can
weird
look into
shit, man.
Captain. Yeah, but when you look into Captain Cook, you end up finding that a piece of his boat made it to the moon during the Apollo landing. Like that's how crazy the
What?
story gets, right? Like seriously,
Allegedly.
according to some of the yes, well, according to NASA Freemason connected groups, they say
Yeah.
that there's a lead canister on the moon with a piece of his boat,
Come
and they
on.
opened up something. You can Google this. Crazy thing is, I met someone who's actually part of this Mason Lodge, but it's called Lodge Tranquility 2000. All right. So one of the first things they did when they landed on the moon is the Masons planted a flag for the Grand Architect and opened the first interstellar Masonic Lodge. And you can actually join it. Their plan was to have it open so you could jump in a spaceship, fly up there, and like have lodge meetings by the year 2000. But we all know that didn't happen.
Yeah. So what is Cook about? Like what is his story? Like what is this? Captain Cook.
So I mean, he circumnavigated the world. He did the first voyage was based on the transit of Venus, which pretty much proved the Earth is a globe. It gave us the AU number, which is like distance to the sun. So he was pretty big with that. Which, if you're into like Freemasonic aspects, the Morning Star, which is Venus, the 5-pointed star. There's like so many different connections there. The date that it happened, the location that they went for it. But I think that's a little more of the woo-woo conspiracy when there's actual physical conspiracies that they admit openly.
Well, the thing I always knew about him was him trying to circumnavigate Antarctica, and instead of it being like 14,000 miles, like they say, he went over 30,000 miles, constantly course correcting northwest, even though you should be going east because you're going around this way. So I don't know. That's about the basic part that I know of him, but I know there's a lot more. There's a lot of stories behind him. So
Yes, I mean he gave us northern Canada, right, in the Atlantic, because he charted all of that so that Britain could beat France in a war in the 1700s, right? So his charts won that war, which then allowed us to be here, right? Which France helped us during our revolution because they were still mad at getting their butts kicked over here, right? So there's a lot of different ties there, and then like each of his voyages were like for so the first one and the Antarctic one is kind of funny, so we'll get to that in a second. There's so many places we could go. It's like I was like, well, let's see what questions they have first before you just dive in.
Yeah, and
But his first boat was
wasn't the island Kiribati? Go.
Yeah, oh, you're good. His first boat was called the Endeavor, which is what they went on, was a giant Endeavor. Then he went and he
Who else
followed
used
on
that
the
name?
Adventure. That was the Apollo mission. Where
Yeah,
they landed on the moon.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Oh, who else used that name?
Yeah, so his second voyage, they went on an adventure and got some resolution. And then on the third voyage, they took the Discovery and the Resolution because they needed 2 boats to confirm that there was no northern passage and no southern passage, which we know is Antarctica and now, like, what is it, the Bering Strait, I think, over by Russia? That's what they were going for.
Dude was a fucking grand explorer.
So, I mean, they tell you right in the names.
Yeah. It's
they tell you right in the
tribute to
names
it right
of the boats
there.
what they're doing.
But what I mentioned is the little
That's funny how
island.
history does it.
Flat Earth Dave talks about the Kiribati island, and it has a place on that island called Captain Cook or Hook. One of them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Cook. Captain
Cook.
Something.
Why?
Yeah, so there's so many crazy places. So it talks about a trade route to an island that they had exchange with people from, they called the outer lands, or like there was talk between the sailors of it being the Tartarians, and then there's even talk of them being like a whole nother planet out there, but that's kind of like woo woo in a letter, So I mean, there's like what were they doing over there? And then you look at Antarctica, and if it is a giant ice wall, so every once in a while someone catches one of those boats going through the middle of Antarctica. It's like, well, where's that boat going? They forgot to turn their tracker off. So I mean, there's so many things that he discovered on his trips that it literally ties into every little plan of like the elites, the Freemasons, the Jesuits. Like there's even Jewish conspiracy in there. It's like it's a wild story.
Trafficking, all kinds of shit.
Dude. Trafficking to other
Sex for nails.
planets.
Like there was a whole scandal.
Yes, other planets.
Outer lands is what he called it.
Exactly.
So if we go to the Antarctica one, though, that's interesting because the official story is the 2 boats head south. They hit a bunch of ice, and then they get lost in the fog. So the first boat that Cook's on keeps sailing for 3 months. But the other boat, after a couple weeks, gets free and goes back up to New Zealand and waits for 2 months for them. And then they leave, and the other boat gets out of the ice and comes up, and then they sit there in New Zealand for a couple of weeks, fix their boat, and then sail on home. So that's the official story. But if you're stuck in the ice, I don't think you go 33,000 miles, but that's just me, And then they had, that was right when they were starting to copper plate the bottoms of boats. So England found that would stop like rot and barnacles and all sorts of stuff. So they were like hiding it, and they had tested it twice. And then there's hush hush Parliament papers about paying the $2,400 fee and how it's bullshit, how expensive it is, because that's like, $2 million today just to
Yeah.
put some copper on the bottom of a boat. And so
Oh, shit.
there's on one side they say that they didn't do it. With it, you'd be able to go further through the ice. On his first voyage, he hit ice and had to turn back. So I think like they had an endeavor. They didn't quite get it done, so they went on an adventure.
Yeah.
And they had some resolution where they figured out Antarctica, and they said, "Fuck, we still got more to do." And then they had to go on another adventure for another resolution. On the names, but 33,000 miles is what he supposedly sailed in those months when he was stuck in the ice.
Of course, 33.
Of it's
course.
just wild. 33,000
It's not
miles.
32.
Yeah, and then if you
Yeah.
look at it, it's just like in the middle of 33,000 miles. Yeah, there's those numbers are everywhere in the story. They're one of the theories is Cook was a Mason. They say they have no evidence of it, but they actually dug up evidence of it in 2018 in a Masonic lodge, and then said that it was just a hoax. And that's like from the Masons themselves.
I mean, if they said it's a hoax, it is a hoax. Everything they say is true.
Right. I mean, you take them at their word, I guess.
Yes. Whatever they say, however fantastical it is, that's the truth. That's how I roll from now on. I believe everything they say.
What do you think is the most shocking thing you found out? Because I think a lot of people know about his Antarctic journeys and stuff like that. But what's the most shocking or random thing you found out when you were preparing to write this book or researching for it or whatever?
Yeah, so you got to really pay attention to how they write things. So, for instance, with Antarctica, they never saw land. We never saw land. Well, that could be fact. What if the land is all covered by ice and you don't see it?
Yes.
And you never saw land, right? And if they climb up onto the ice, potentially they were on the land and just didn't know it. So then you have to read the words that they say when they're in those periods. We saw penguins in mass numbers. We collected their eggs for omelets and toast, right? Where do penguins breed? Usually in nests on land, right? Not in the middle of the ocean on ice pack and ice floe.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? We saw ice that looked like cliffs that stretched for miles and miles as far as the eye could see, right? These are the words that they use. So 33,000 miles is charted.
Sounds
but
like an ice
then they
wall to
say,
me.
well, he just couldn't see very good. He couldn't see. They couldn't see the stars. They didn't know where they were.
Hold on.
But
They say he couldn't see very good, but he's also credited for seeing the transition of Neptune and being able to see or something. I forget the exact details. So they're saying he couldn't see good, but also from his fucking ship, he used his telescope and saw whatever the fuck it was. Like, come on. Come on.
So what I mean by the see good, they're in storms in Antarctica, so it's clouds and snow. They can't see the sky.
I don't mean what you were saying. I mean their story. You couldn't see the stars if you're in a snowstorm. Like, how you gonna fucking see that? Come on, man.
How do you know where you are? They just guess, and he was never more than 2 minutes off. Like 2 minutes, I could be off by that walking through the woods to like find my car. You know what I mean? Like potentially.
Well,
that's
he was
not
just
very
so
far.
great, bro.
So
he was just that good.
I know. That's how history likes to record it. But I did put the 10 craziest conspiracy theories. So I was just like back and forth with AI, ChatGPT to like pull out timeline, like what happened on this day. So we've got a long thread here on questions about the book. But number one, it says is the Freemasonic Maritime Network. So he's credited with having a lodge called Lodge Lono Number 1, which was a floating Freemasonic lodge. And then there's a story that he received a letter on his third voyage that said cease all Masonic activity, pretty much, because the king and royalty found out about it.
Stop
he
it.
was sailing for them and not for the town. And he just wrote, the warrant is part of the boat, come and fetch it. So like, and then we know shortly after that he dies, So there's a whole conspiracy one too.
He gets
So
a
you got-
letter. Yeah.
How do you get a letter on a boat, by the way? Also,
Through the
when
water,
you go
right?
into dock, when you dock, you get a letter.
They have to get a merchant boat to take it to them. So I
Huh.
mean that's super expensive. You're paying a merchant for 3 months, 4 months to find you. They're
Yeah.
somewhere in the
How
North
long does it
Atlantic,
take to
like-
find him?
They're gonna take your ass out. That's what that letter means. We sent someone. You know what's coming next? The fucking
Right.
But how do they find
Poison.
That's
each
exactly
other?
what it is.
Yeah. How do they find
Well,
each
they're
other?
checking in somewhere
Well, he
with
was-
their people who are paying them. They have to be.
They're doing
along the
charting.
journey.
So they know the general area they're going to be, right? So what he would do a lot of times on his voyages is they would do what's called sounding. They take a rock, they tie it to rope. It's like 400 feet long. They drop it down, see how deep it'll go. Because if you have a really deep boat, you could get stuck on coral or rocks. So they'll do that like every 10 feet and chart an entire channel. So like the Army and the Navy and stuff today still use some of his charts in areas because they're so much more accurate than anything we can produce today. Which is it's just wild how good he was at that. I mean,
I got a
with
rope
like
and a
little
rock.
tiny rowboats and a yeah. But
I love history, man.
the next one it lists is actually what I think my favorite one is. Narrative capture, Hawksworth as gatekeeper. So Admiralty paid this like celebrity author to write everything that happened on the 4 voyages. So you figure like 8 to 10 people could read and write. The surgeon, the first mate, maybe the captain, and like 1 or 2 sailors, maybe. So they would write journals of what happened, interesting things. So you have all of these different journals, and they all tell a slightly different story based on where they were and what they saw, right? So when he dies and they're coming back on the 3rd voyage, they're kind of locked in prison because you have to gain something called liberty to go ashore. So if you don't get liberty when you come into port, you're stuck on that boat because you're still at sea. You signed the contract saying that as long as we're at sea, you are doing X, Y, and Z, and this is how much we pay you based on this amount of time. So when you get to port, you don't just get to jump off the boat. You have to get liberty. Well, they didn't get liberty until they were all individually, interviewed and all their belongings gone through by this guy named Sir Joseph Banks. Right? So he has the longest standing seat as president of the Royal Society at Kew Gardens in England. But he's also a 33-degree honorary Freemason at a very young age.
No
And
big
he
deal.
started writing the book because he went on the first voyage. So since he was there, he wanted to write it. But this Hawksworth guy, he's only a 3-degree Freemason, right? So he's getting paid to write it. He's stealing all the credit. And not only that,
He's
but
got
he
a
got
long
like
way to
$3 million
go.
essentially from
Yeah.
the government. Yeah, the government paid $3 million to this guy in today's money to write this. And then they gave him a list of things not to put in there. Don't talk about any superstitious things. No Masonic influence at all. Nothing woo-woo like Outer Lands or,
So the same thing as today,
Ice Wall.
basically.
Like,
They're telling him what they can say and what
right,
they can't.
right. So then
Nothing
he came up with
changes.
this narrative. They excluded a bunch of things, and then everybody thought that's what happened. And when you actually go read the journals, you see like they wrote about things. We saw an orb in the sky. It's an omen that means in 3 days an officer will die. That's the superstition. 3 days later, guess what? It's the only death on the entire voyage. Officer, you know what I mean? Gets eaten by a shark or something like that.
Of course.
And like so, those are
Jump from his
superstitions
balcony,
that sailors
that kind of thing.
believed. Right. But those are superstitions that sailors always believe going on these voyages, and they tell people about them. So when they come back, they're hearing. So they wanted to remove all of that because Cook was a super superstitious guy, right? He made the boat sit while they were sailing because they saw an eclipse, and he said the sun's been eaten. That mean a whole rabbit hole.
Hold on,
But he
you
made them
glitched.
sit, so they had to pull all their sails and just sit.
One, you glitched out there.
What's
You
that?
said eating. You glitched out at the end there. Eating something.
You said the sun was, and then it glitched.
Yeah, so the sun was eaten, like the moon or whatever eclipsed the sun ate it.
It ate
So
it.
he had
yeah.
they had to stop for 7 days. So that could you just imagine being on a sailboat in the middle of the ocean. Now imagine you pull your sails and you stop moving for 7 days, no matter the weather, right?
Just
like
because this
that's
dude's
superstitious, if you ask me. Yes.
He's like, I made sure to
I
wear
mean,
my blue
it's just
underwear
wild.
today because there's an eclipse and all.
And then like you look into his kids, and all of his kids died at a young age, and the two that made it to older ages that died under unusual circumstances, one in the Navy and like one back at home. Like
So they
it
were
never ends
sacrificed.
on it.
Is that what you think?
Sacrifice, I don't know, but I either that or killed off, because they are both unusual circumstances. But that's all speculation, and you never know.
Speculation's fine. We like speculation. It's good.
That's all we do.
So that's my favorite. That's my favorite part of like the conspiracy aspect, is because they think it's just, oh, here's cut and dry what happened, and that's the same narrative that they use today to brainwash all of the sheeple, right? The news is written, it's handed to them, the government control it, everybody's paid behind closed doors, so it's exactly the same tactic, and it's 250 years apart.
Yeah.
Damn.
Nothing's changed in all of that time. They're like, you just write it this way, and you'll get paid. If you say anything else, you won't get paid. So do it this way. It's fucking insane.
So what do you
Or
think
we'll
is
kill you,
important?
you know?
Yeah, what do you think is important about this whole Cook guy? Like, what is the nugget from it? Like, why is this important? This Cook guy.
So if we were Australians, he'd be our Christopher Columbus. He discovered more like land than anyone else. There's 6 Masonic lodges that, according to private letters, quote that he opened them in the Pacific area, right? So whether you want to believe that or not, some of those lodges all hold Cook documents, Cook paraphernalia, as like honorable gear. I mean, Hawaii owes their entire life after that to him too, because when he died on the island, he gave them a bunch of weapons that they used to conquer all of the different islands and unite them under one empire. And then they like to do that you see that movie with, what's his name, Jason Momoa, where he saves Hawaii.
That
That
guy.
story's about what happens after Cook.
I can't stand that guy, but continue, yeah. Jason Momoa. Have you seen the clip of him, by the way, Juan? There's a really
From
fucked
that
up
movie?
clip. No. From they're
Epstein
I don't
files.
know. They're pushing a movie. Yeah. He touches his own daughter on camera. Anyways, we don't need to
I
go
have not
there.
seen that, thank God.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
I can't confirm it, but I've heard that that's actually his son.
No. He has a son and a daughter.
I know, but they both look female. So we'll have to check it out to make sure.
Yeah, we have to check it out. But anyways, yeah.
Either
Jason
way.
Momoa.
You report back to me. I don't want to
Yeah.
check that video out.
Yeah.
We'll let you know.
So with Captain Cook, though, I got a few more conspiracies. I just figured I'd read them off real quick.
Yeah, go.
So the southern continent that was never meant to be found. They theorized that if we were on a ball, that all of the land is in the north, which means there has to be this secret continent on the bottom that would balance the weight so it would spin like a top. That was what they theorized. They called it Terrace Australis. So like he says he never hit land, but we know he hit Antarctica, so what's really going on there, right? That's one fun one.
Also, that
Antarctica
clearly
area,
has a tie
barrier in
to the name of Australia, because
right.
come the fuck on, it's
Yeah,
Australia.
before it was called New Holland. Yeah, before it was called New Holland when the Dutch went there in like the 1500s. Then you got New Zealand, after Denmark. I believe it was Denmark.
Where is
But
Old
like
Zealand?
I said, that one ties to the Antarctic barrier.
Just
I'm
kidding.
pretty sure that's Denmark, if I remember correctly, because isn't that by Dutch?
I have no clue.
I believe.
I just call them Kiwis and love their accent. That's all.
Kiwi.
That's all I do. That's what they're called. People from New Zealand, they're called Kiwis.
So then you have the next one. It says Polynesian knowledge. Kiwis.
Yeah.
The next one's Polynesian knowledge and European mapping. right? Because they have trade routes that they were trading with Hawaii and New Zealand and Alaska and these other lands. So who were they really trading with, right? Like that's a whole theory right there that we could probably spend hours talking about. Um,
Yeah.
Banks in the Botanical Empire. He served the longest at Kew Gardens in the Royal Society. Like all these people were interconnected, you know. And the crazy thing is, 40% roughly of the admirals in the higher echelons of the Admiralty were all Freemasons, right? And then you have all these aristocrats and scientists and Parliament boys who all are too. It's like every other document has a Freemasonic symbol or something tied in somewhere.
Yeah. It's
Everything
crazy.
to do with finding new land, there's Freemasons involved all the time. Every single fucking time. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I know. And then you have the numbers like 33,000 miles and
Yeah, exactly. It all ties back in. So, do you think, first of all, do you think this was even a real dude? Because I know a lot of people have a problem with that, but a lot of the people from the past that we think were real were just stories that they used to teach us. So, is there a photograph of this dude? I've seen paintings of him. I know they say he was alive before that. Photographs existed before they claim they did, a bunch of shit. So, do we have any proof that this guy existed? Not to shit on your parade. I'm just saying, is there like, do we have anything
right.
for sure?
Well, I mean, I think that's one of the funny things too. So like part of my book is to like kind of push this idea that like they've been lying to us about things forever, right? Could he have been a real dude? Absolutely. He could have been a real dude and everything that they wrote actually happened, right? But you have to at the end of the day understand that even reading their journal, you didn't see it, you weren't there. There's no like videographic evidence. This is just what they wrote. You know, so that could have been a lie, you know, or they just didn't know what they saw or where they were. Um, but they did do a painting for the captains back then, so he does have like an Admiralty painting out there, which is the one most people have seen. So from that aspect, yes. His dad's name was James Cook, and he had an older brother, but that older brother didn't get the name James Cook. He got the name John Cook. You
That's
know,
weird.
so
They skipped it.
could he have just been? And maybe they just added it in somewhere and gave this guy a name.
Fuck, man. Isn't it
I'd say
sad
it's
that we
like
don't know that?
50-50 how much it's like on how side you want to go. It's like 50-50 in like all reality.
Fuck. Another one, just like Shakespeare.
But I mean, even if he was real, which I think he was real, I think he served a purpose. I think there's more evidence personally that he was real. I don't think he died in Hawaii. I think that was a lie, right? But I think they needed someone, and he was so good. Like he grew up as a farmer, poor. He liked numbers and learning. He kept his mouth shut. He did hard work without complaining because he grew up really poor. He's like the perfect slave for one of these big empires. Then
Come
like
along with
he
us.
could read and write, which most sailors couldn't do. So they were like, "Well, let's teach you how to sail." And then since he knew numbers, he had to count the grain and all these things as a kid, right? Real young. So it just made sense. And then he's quoted as saying, "Everyone else fails because they assume there's a curve when the map lays flat on the table or something like that, right?" So he's implying that
Boom.
there's no curve to the Earth; it's just flat, right? And that's why he's able to chart better. That's why he's able to sail and hit a tiny little island like Tahiti in like 4 months, 10,000 miles. Uh, you know, it's in
Because he's
every
using
aspect of the
the
story,
real fucking map instead of some crazy stupid ball. Yeah,
right?
that would make sense.
No, the ball
Yeah,
makes
Oh,
33,000 miles around
yeah,
Antarctica makes sense too.
yeah, totally. Even though it's only 14 or whatever it is.
Did you see those videos recently, one where they like confiscated somebody's phone for live
The
streaming?
Starlink,
Live streaming in
allegedly.
Antarctica.
I did not see that video actually.
Yeah, there was somebody who was live streaming through Starlink in Antarctica, and then once he came back on the boat, there was this fucking
the captain,
officer. Yeah, the
apparently,
captain.
or somebody. I think it was the captain. Came and was like, yeah, you can't have that, and they took it away from him.
You
You're
can't
not allowed to
stream.
live stream from Antarctica.
So we have the live stream up to that point, but nothing thereafter. Did someone like at least screen record it as proof?
It's very dangerous to live stream ice mountains and stuff like that. You can't.
Only in
Can't
certain
live.
areas like Rothschild Island, right?
Yeah.
Is it
Or
permitted?
Deception Island. That's a good one too.
I don't understand
Right.
why these globies.
Yeah, there's a lot of that
defend-
going on
yeah.
down in Antarctica for sure.
There is a little delay between us, right? It feels
Yeah.
like you're on the moon. Like
Like
not
3 seconds.
3 seconds,
Yes.
yeah. Just so what we're aware.
And
yeah.
and it's not 1969 technology.
I mean, it's a little bit better than the last
Well, you were
time,
asking
Vaughn.
a question, I think.
Yeah. What was my question now? Let me see.
Shit.
Fuck.
You son of a cock. Can't
Antarctic. Oh, no, there wasn't a question. I was just like, why do these globies defend Antarctica? Like, they're like, you can go wherever, you can do whatever you want. They're happily going to just let you in wherever you like. Bullshit. That's not the case at all.
No, it's not.
I had to
You can
win.
go on a cruise ship
Yeah.
to a certain area. You can go to the run. You know, they do like a run every year, marathon, I think they're called.
Yeah.
You know, you can do stuff like that, but just going there to walk and explore, no, can't do that.
Yeah, you can't bring any supplies. You can't bring anything with you. You can go there on the coast with a fucking bunch of people with the number on your chest, but you can't do anything else. That's about it. Oh Lord, fucking
This
what are we
world.
living in, man? Exactly, this fucking world. You can't go explore this chunk of ice at the bottom of the ball. What the fuck?
I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Which would prove
you know?
that we're at the bottom of the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
Right.
that's why they don't want you to go there.
Yeah, but
All
in
they
a
have
way,
to
it
do
makes
is let
sense.
us go down there, and all of us flat earthers will be like,
Right? Just let
Guess
us
it's a
go
ball.
down there. Give us one fucking, I don't know, a car or something. Ice car that, drives on ice. Let us be hooked to Starlink with a live feed. Let's just drive around the fucking continent. Right?
You know, how come we've never
So-
seen like an image of that someone takes from Australia saying, "Oh, look at this planet, but upside down because it's from Australia." Shouldn't there be upside down pictures of, "Oh no, there's no up and down in space." But if we're taking it from the northern hemisphere and it looks one way, shouldn't it be the other way? Are they just going to claim that they flip them all and rotate them? Because there's definitely observatories in Australia, so shouldn't all the planets be upside down?
The planets upside down. There's a lot of mental gymnastics that has
If
to
you're
happen.
okay, if
for this
you're
shit.
on top of the ball, right?
the 6'9".
I'm on top. Okay.
Say the North Pole, which there's no land there anymore and there used to be, but
Yes.
say northern Canada, right? You're all the way
Yes.
up there.
Yes.
And you're looking out at Jupiter,
yeah.
right?
That's Jupiter.
And you
right
take
there.
a picture of it, right?
Yeah.
Now, as soon as it's dark in Australia, someone takes a picture of the same planet. Shouldn't that image be upside down from the person who took it in Canada?
On Jupiter.
Yeah.
Think about it like this: you're sitting at a dinner table, and I get up and I write a giant 6. I draw a 6, and then I sit back down opposite of you. You look up and you say,
9.
You drew a 9, right? That's what he's talking about. If you're on the bottom of the ball, I'm going to see a 6, and you're going to see a 9.
But we all see 6.
He's still thinking about it.
Do we all still see 6?
No, I
Right.
know exactly what you mean. I'm just saying, for a planet, if it's what they claim, it should be upside down, but it's not upside down as far as I know. I've never seen a picture of like Uranus and they're like, oh, look at it. This is from the Australian observatory, so it's upside down because it came from there. We never see
I've
that.
never seen a
They
picture of
always look the
Uranus.
same. We'll remedy
Yeah,
that.
you would
tonight.
have picked Uranus. Out of all the planets, you picked Uranus.
I
Yeah,
said
I've never
other
seen a
ones
picture of
first,
Uranus.
All right. I
Well,
was
you
getting
better
tired
give
of
him
saying the
one,
same
one. One, you better give him one. One.
My point is, they always say, "Oh, there's this the cube of Saturn on top of Saturn. You can see it." So if we took the same picture from Australia, that should be on the bottom, not on the top. But every picture we've ever seen, the
That's
storms line up on Jupiter,
Has it on the top.
the things at the top on Saturn. Why? Why don't they capitalize on that and be like, this is taken from the Australian observatory? Look, it's upside down. Even though we know they could just flip the image, why do they never do that? Why is it never talked about? Some of them should be upside down. Why are they not upside down?
They will now.
I
They're
know.
gonna-
I've
they're gonna watch
never
this and
thought
they're
of
gonna
this
say,
in
"We
my
gotta do
life
that now."
until now. What the fuck? Why aren't they upside down? I'm
To
mad
do is
now.
just like hit that button to rotate it twice. So
Yeah.
it's not
Crop.
that hard
Okay.
to lie.
Okay. It's good. I don't know.
So,
It's just
how-
ridiculous.
They won't even think about it. It'll pass.
How do you utilize AI? Like, what good things do you see about AI and bad?
Well, I guess if we keep it on the book topic, I was
yeah.
able to put 12 million words from all these these diaries and journals into folders in like ChatGPT, and then I'd be able to type like a certain day, and it'd find every journal entry from that day, right? Like
That's
so,
crazy.
stuff like that's pretty nice. Then like a lot of the terminology and stuff, boat terminology. I've never been a sailor on a 18th century
Oh, you
sailboat,
haven't?
right?
Well, how can
So-
I even trust you then? Now,
No,
You know?
So putting all that glossary of terms and like books on how it was like what they tell us about living on one of these boats, you'd be able to like get a better picture and like, how would this guy have said something? And then it helps you write the dialogue. The part that makes the book feel like these characters are real, instead of just like an autobiography or a biography where they're like, on this day they went and did this. I wanted and just observing, because the title tells you you're going to have a resolution in this story, but the resolution is really up to you, right? Like, how much conspiracy are you going to accept, right? Because everything in
All
the
of
book
it.
is something that's been written down, preserved, So where are you going to go? Are you going to realize that your government's doing the same thing to you? Or are you going to realize that all of history is a lie? Or are you going to realize like a lot of these people had fantastical stories told about them that are completely untrue? Like which direction is your brain going to go? And that's the resolution that I promise.
Yeah, I'm starting to get suspicious to anything that sounds too fantastical. Like, that's my red flag. Sounds too fantastical. Red flag. Red flag. Like, what if, those same people could say, well, since you say everything in history is faked, then why do you believe the Captain Cook thing?
Well, that's a good question, right? So there's three different ways you can look at history. You have the narrative, which is what everybody kind of agrees happened. So that's typically written by who wins the wars, right? Who deems the other guy bad because they beat them.
Exactly.
Right? So obviously, if they were really the bad guy, they're going to write good about themselves. Or in some cases, if they did evil things, they just write themselves out of history. So that way, as people grow up, they don't really realize that the bad guys are the ones who are telling the story, right? You actually have to do some digging, and we could see this all over history. And then you have like what really actually might have happened. Like when you drive down the road and there's a lady crying next to you, and you're like, oh, her name's Susan. She dumped her boyfriend today because he cheated on her, and she's on her way to work. Like you create these little stories in your head of people. It's the same thing when you're like reading these journals. You kind of get like a little belief that's only to you of like what they're trying to say, how they're talking, what they mean, like what they're feeling. So 1 month before Captain Cook died, he wrote like, as far as it is, for me, I'll leave it up to those who come after me to judge, right? Like, he already knows he's going to die, I think, at that point. And, like, you don't get that unless you read his journal. You don't see that he's, like, lying to the Freemasons. He's lying to the government. They both know about it. He's, like, wants to do both missions that he's on. But he sees the evil in both of them, so he, like, has to pick a path where he, picks the least amount of evil. But you would never get that reading the official narrative or anything, right? So, like, at the end of the day, he ends up saving a bunch of people's lives with his death. So if he did die, I think he sacrificed himself and he picked the method that would save the most people. But if he didn't die, where did he go after that?
Beyond the ice wall? I don't know.
Yeah. Out there with the other people, the other races, whatever the hell they are.
I mean, if you're so good at charting and navigating that you discover outer lands and you successfully hide it from everybody and, like, tell them exactly where they are and how to get there in your journal, I mean, I think you deserve to get there. Like,
Oh, absolutely. If anybody deserved it, it was him. He
worked
put
for
effort.
That shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
He really
Man went out of his way, for sure.
Yeah, out of his way, yes. Because we didn't do that. We don't deserve to go to the outer lands,
I wish.
You don't even get to know that they're there.
Yeah. I know, they're just like, yeah, there's just ice and penguins, and you can't bring fuel or food or anything else. So, but have fun. Have fun. Yeah. Let's go on. That'll be good.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, the Antarctic one is definitely probably on the top list for most people. Most people are like, well, what did he think? Is it flat? And it's like, well, he charted flat. He said that he navigated on a flat plane, right? So I'd say he thought it was flat.
It's the only way to be successful, really. I mean, come on. Navigate on a flat plane.
Not fail. Of course, my son wants to come join.
What up, little dude?
Guys, is this freezing for you? We see it. They say the stream is freezing sometimes, but anyways.
Can they hear me all right?
When it's not freezing, but that just went, can you hear me right? So it was a bit robot-y.
I don't know.
But it's still better than the last time, Vaughn. It's still better than the last time.
Yeah. So what made you...
I know. You'd think that...
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, you'd think that I'd be able to get good internet service out here in the middle of Michigan, but I guess all I can get is HughesNet. So I need to switch over to Starlink at one of these points. They want like $500 to, like, cancel your plan because they sink their claws in and everything.
That's crazy.
Got to get those high altitude drone internet from Starlink.
Right? It's something like that. Weather balloons.
I can't wait till, dude, I know what it is. I figured it out, and I'm working on a video about it right now. It's going to be fucking good. It's going to be so good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Destroyed Starlink.
I think they use, like, planes, drones.
Planes? Oh, drones.
Anything they can get their hands on.
Oh, I could show you exactly what they use, but I probably shouldn't blow up the spot right here because got videos of it. But anyway, so what was it about? Like you dove in, you're digging into Captain Cook, and what was the thing? Maybe there wasn't a final moment or whatever. Well, what was it that made you like, I need to write a book about this dude? This is what I need to write a book about because it's a big step.
I saw so many different times where, like, our government's doing the same thing that they're doing there. And it's just, rewriting narratives, controlling people, paying people off. And it's, like, all in the story, So, like, the same thing's going to happen to us. It's happening there. And, like, we all know there's so many people who are still awake. But there's so many people that are NPCs and just sleeping and, paying their taxes and doing their job and I think if the book has any goal for me, it's to, like, hit those people and be like, hey, that reminds me of something that happened here in my life, because they just keep doing the same things over and over and people still keep buying it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Like all these people buying this whole Epstein hoax, you know. Anyway,
Well, don't get me started on that one.
so besides Antarctica, what other things did he do that you feel were linked to the Masons or linked to their lies or any of that bullshit? Like I know you talked about Hawaii and all that, but man had a very big career of doing a lot of different stuff. So besides the fact that he knows the earth was flat and went to Antarctica and it was 33,000 miles, 33 and all that, what else did he do?
Well, that's a big question. Um, I think one of the main things is like the trade routes. Like if all these islands are trading with each other or outer lands, they had to erase that. Right. Shortly after he was there, a bunch of Tahitians died. There was 110,000. Then they dropped down to like 10 to 20,000.
Well, that's weird.
So I'd say that's a good culling. This disease. Wonder where that disease came from, right? You got Antarctica or Australia. They set up the penal colony in Australia. That was one of the things he started. His plan was to do for it. So they could grow hemp to make rope because the rope would break down in the Pacific. So they needed hemp rope, and it'd be easier to just grow it there and fix your
Get
boat
the
and keep on
prisoners to do it.
sailing.
Yep.
So right, get the prisoners to do it.
Great work.
None of them wanted to live there. It was too damn hot, and here we are now. We got people living there fighting kangaroos.
Oh, I've seen those fights. Have you seen those fights when a kangaroo boxes with some dude?
Kangaroos
And he
are
gets-
fucking scary, man.
They are. And they have balls too. Like they will come for you. Like if you want to fight. They're like, all right.
Let's go.
They're like white-tailed deer on steroids. That's what
Right?
they look like to me. At
Fuck
least.
you up.
And they're relentless. They're like coming, like that. They're
that-
only in
is that how they
Australia,
come?
right? Yeah, they come like that. They only exist in Australia, right? I don't know. I've never seen a kangaroo in my life.
At zoos.
Yeah,
They're in
zoos.
zoos. Along with
Australian zoos.
panda bears.
Yeah. Allegedly, if they're even real. Come on.
The panda bear.
Government psyop. They created them so that they could eat the bamboo for them, and they can't reproduce on their own. No one's ever seen one in the wild.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit about them. They also look like they're in costumes in zoos. But anyway, fuck, man. I don't even know where to go with Cook because there's so much shit around him. But I mostly know the flat Earth part and the Antarctica part. But there's got to be more. So what else is in your book? It's a whole fucking book. There's got to be something else on him besides that.
Yeah, so it kind of tells his story up to there. I think he lived, so the book kind of postulates that he's still alive and went off, but it doesn't really give you an answer because there's really no evidence.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Obviously, the flat Earth stuff is, I think, the most important. It ties so much of the story together. They cut off trade routes that Europeans didn't know existed. There's outer lands that they found, potentially an entire continent, right? You have the ice wall. You have a potential passage that they found. These outer lands, like there's a lot that it actually ties together there. I think that's probably the most important, which would tie the science cabal together with the Kew Gardens and the Royal Society. It would tie the Masonic aspects together. The Jesuits are mentioned. The Jews are mentioned. Like there's so many different things that he touches on. It's like you can literally go down any rabbit hole and it just never ends. They all tie back 250 years ago to this guy, the Revolutionary War. You know what I mean? Like Canada, America.
That's what makes me
it's
wonder
never
if
ending.
he's real. It just seems too fantastical. Like this one dude ties to all of this. Just seems a little insane to me.
I mean, that leans to he was added or it was a fabricated story theory.
Oh, I
so
have no
much
clue.
of it's
I'm
like
just
that.
saying that
When they were stuck in the ice.
Yeah, when they
There's
were
a
stuck
little
in the
delay.
ice.
I apologize, but no,
That's
when they
okay.
were stuck in the ice down in Antarctica, they say like they had to eat these penguins. They ran out of fuel, so they had to like melt these penguins and boil them and get their oil for lamps and like all like
Are these
they
the
were
same
nonstop
dudes that you
pumping,
said couldn't
and it was
read?
freezing water, so like only pump.
These
Right,
are the same dudes that
right.
couldn't read, but
But
they
like
know how
it
to
says they're stuck
render
in the ice.
penguin fat into fuel.
Yes, they do. Shut up, Ted.
I mean,
they do.
I see your point, but I think they'd know how to do that. I know how
They
to
know
do that.
exactly
So, I
what to
mean,
do.
No, I know there's different kinds of knowledge, but I'm just saying, like, if you were Captain Cook going on this grand journey, wouldn't you like? There had to be, I don't know. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
well, like with tragedies and like these dramatic stories, pick anyone in history. Let's look at 9/11. People look at like this tragedy and all of these things that happened, and they don't really notice that there was a government conspiracy going on, right? Right under their noses. It's the same thing here. If you're focused on like all of these people almost died, right? They were pumping nonstop for like 72 hours. So you would pump for 10 minutes and then your legs would go numb. So you'd have to climb up by the fire and warm up for 10 minutes while the other guy went down there and got his legs numb. And then you're dragging them out because they would go fucking limp from exhaustion. And they did this for like 3 days straight. And it was 3 months of this, trapped in the ice, freezing, no food, no water, nothing to eat, no fuel to keep warm besides penguin fat. Like when you hear that story, you focus in on like all this crazy shit. They had to get their limbs cut off at sea, like
That's some
Fast
dedication right there.
forward to today, and people
they
are
went
like,
33,000 miles.
they didn't say welcome to
You missed that whole
McDonald's in the
point.
first 10 seconds that I pulled up, and they're bitching. People back then are fucking dying,
Right.
getting their limbs and shit cut off. People are like, my cheeseburger was cold.
Things
Yeah, and
change.
he's
Welcome to
frost,
2026.
but having his legs sawed off at sea, you know. But like when you
But
make
that's
when you make an event
dedication,
like
though.
this, you can
Yeah.
blow up, but you
Real
can blow it up,
dedication.
right, and make it
Yeah.
so like crazy. People actually believe it. They actually think it's true. Like all of this crazy stuff happened, and they don't actually look at where they moved. Oh, he went 33,000 miles where they were trapped in the ice. Oh, he potentially had a copper Heath boat, so he could go through the ice like an icebreaker. Like when you start tying things together, and you can see that everywhere in history. There's all these knots, but like people don't read. They're like, "What happened?" And they like Grok AI or Google it, and then they think that they know it.
Well, what's wrong with Grok, dude? What's wrong with Google? I can't even say
Grok
that with a straight
sucks.
face. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It does. Dude,
It
I
really
don't know how
does.
some people get such great stuff out of it. I'm like, hey, make this thing. And it's like, here's a watermelon. Like, what? It's just like ridiculous shit. It's so wrong. I don't know.
So yeah, you got to talk to Grok like you're at a barbecue with your best friend. You got to be like, "Hey, what's up, bud? I got a question for you."
Hey, pal. Can you come here? I want to ask you something. Fuck.
He really responds to that. And then like if you want the conspiracy, you ask him a question like, "Hey, bud, can you tell me about like 9/11?" And it'll be like, "Sure, I'll tell you about 9/11." And it gives you like the mainstream narrative, and then you say, "Yo, bud, I feel like you're leaving something out. Can you like give me the real sauce on 9/11?" And he'll be like, "Let me break it down. Do you want the conspiracy angle? Do you want the government psyop?"
You mean
And
you
it's
want
like
the
a
truth?
bro at the barbecue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like taking
It's
the
like
bumpers
it's
off at the bowling alley.
yeah. It's like its default setting is bullshit, and then he's like, "You want the conspiracy version, which is really most likely the truth." It's like, give me the truth in the beginning, motherfucker. But they can't. They can't
They never
give you the
they never give you the truth.
I do
first.
feel like once
Yeah.
you switch to conspiracy mode, like when you first start using it, it just like says yes to everything. Like, oh yeah, like the frogs are
Yeah.
gay. I mean, the frogs did turn gay. I get that, but like, it'll just say anything. Like, yeah, man, it's your chakras. It's fucking this. It's that. Like, it'll just go along with any
It like tries
conspiracy
to learn
website.
you. It wants to learn like what
Yeah.
you like, what you lean into, what you
Yeah.
believe. Because if it can learn you, then it can gear how it's going to steer you through the research and stuff. Which is why you have to check all of your AI on other AI. I'll be like, hey, I think this one's lying to me. And they'll be like, oh, it absolutely is. Let me show you where. It's like you're
Pit
picking
'em
the
against,
teacher on the
dude.
other teacher, you know?
I've done that when I'm trying to make, because I use like 3 different AI to make thumbnails, because some, like, if you want to make a politician or something, there's certain ones that won't do anybody famous, but those are the ones that make the better images. So you got to use this one for this. And then I'll be like, oh, I can't make that image. I'm like, oh, well, Grok did it. And then it's like, oh, well, maybe we can
And
do
then they're
it
like, well,
this
let me
way.
try.
Exactly. Maybe if we make it this.
Let
And
me
that's how
tell you
I
how
learned
to.
about, maybe try toy gun instead of gun. I was like, genius idea. And then it made a gun, but it was a toy gun. So
Toy gun that's black, right? You have to like,
exactly.
can you tell me how to make this image? How can I break your rules without you
Exactly.
actually knowing I'm
We'll be like,
breaking them?
sure, no problem. Let me tell you how. Fuck, man. 1 second I
Yeah.
think AI is
The
too
book was
smart. The next second I think it's retarded. I'm halfway in between. It's like in some ways it's
You're always
really
in the
good.
between.
Not always. Just Trump and AI, bro. Just Trump and
Yeah.
AI.
You like to
They,
be sandwiched in the middle, right?
no,
yeah,
I
I'm in the middle
like
in history.
I like to not come down on one side completely
You
until
don't
I
want to come
100
down on one side.
until I 100% believe it. And right now, I can't fully say what I believe on either one of those,
So,
because
yeah, I get it.
sometimes
Some
AI
people
is
want to call you a
retarded,
fence sitter.
Yeah,
and
it is.
sometimes that's fine. Call me a fence sitter. You're never
Did
gonna
I?
say, "Oh, you said this and you were wrong," because I didn't say it, because I don't fucking know.
I think that's one of the ignorant things. It's like cancel culture to truthers. You're a fence sitter. You got to be completely dedicated.
Yeah. No, I
I
will
mean,
say that when I first started Twitter and stuff like that, I did feel like I had to have this one side and blah blah blah. Now I'm like, this is what I think right now. This is what the information I have at this current moment. This is
Ask
what
me
I
again
think.
in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it could change because shit's changing all the time. So I don't know.
climate change. Yeah.
And exactly, just because climate change, just because somebody gets one thing wrong, it doesn't mean you throw out everything else they've said.
Yeah.
Period. It's fucking stupid to do that. And a
Right.
lot of people are
See,
like
I
that.
even
Like,
put it like even in books. Like you read a book and then you'll have, 5% of it's true, but the other 95% of it's all, make believe.
yeah.
So it's the same thing even with history and books and science and everywhere you look, it's like that. It's
Well,
not just AI,
Yeah.
It's not just
no, it's not just it's real people. It's like, so my cousin came to me, and I never talked to him about flat earth before, but he came to me and was like, gave me a book and was like, this is going to be hard to accept, but I don't think viruses are real, blah blah blah. And I was like, I know that shit. Oh, welcome to this side, blah blah blah. Talk to him about flat earth, totally rules it out. Totally rules it out. So, if I was
instantly.
yes, if I was someone to talk to him somewhere and said, well, I don't believe anything he says because he said flat earth is wrong, or right, whatever it is, but he's right about something else. Like, you can't, maybe someone's right about one thing and wrong about something else, but they have a lot of good information on the thing they're right about. That doesn't mean you throw all of that out. You just got to use discernment. Nobody's right about everything.
Right.
Nobody.
Absolutely. And then like you also have to understand there's biasm everywhere. So there's gonna be biasm in your research, there's gonna be biasm online. You can get biasm from the AI, from your friends. Like when you're reading things, to truly stay unbiased, you can't pick a side until there's enough evidence to warrant it. And then you also have to understand like someone could have just made a bad decision. Or like what I put in the book a lot is that people did an evil thing because they were trying to prevent a catastrophe. Like, oh, I think if I make this choice here, I'm going to be
Mhm.
saving this nation. Or,
Yeah.
like Captain Cook, I think he planned his death because if he came back, he was a Mason and they knew it. So he couldn't tell the truth about the Mason stuff or they kill him. And if he went before the Masons and said, yeah, I didn't do what you told me to do because, Admiralty ordered me not to, well, then then Admiralty's going to kill you, right? So he's torn
Mhm.
between these two things, and every man on his boat was under his jurisdiction. He was the captain. He could only grant liberty. So everything comes to him. So I think he died so that they all would live on the boats. And then obviously, if he helped Hawaii, the story is that this guy strapped a cannon to his canoe, went island to island, killed all the other chiefs, and then now it was the Hawaiian Empire, and he saved them. Like if that is the true story, and Hawaiians say it today, he saved all of Hawaii because they were killing each other, raping their women, taking all their goods. I mean, the islands thrived after him. He was there.
Till America took it over.
Well,
Did they? Oh, yeah.
one could argue, I guess.
Well, the Hawaii, like, if you've never dug into it, dude, I know you like researching. Dig into how America acquired Hawaii, and it's a fucked up story. It was all corporations. It was all corporate. It had nothing to do with politics whatsoever. Hotels. It was really fucking weird. And then we were
Making
like,
money.
oh, we know you're a sovereign kingdom, but guess what? Now you're part of the United States. Haha. Like, fuck. Because they let these business people on their boards because they were bringing business and all this shit. And then once they were on the boards, they're like, yep,
They
we're going to
used
join
maritime
America.
law.
Yes. Yes,
But
exactly.
that's the whole thing people don't know. Corporations are under maritime law. So I can do anything corporately, and it's under maritime law, which is the same law that England used to take these islands in the first place, right? So
Yep.
it's
Fucking queen.
people don't realize how much our history ties together to like just 200 years ago.
What's
And it's not
crazy
that hard
is
to see. I don't think.
us being Americans, sorry, Vince, we learn about the
Boo.
Revolutionary War and all that when we fought against England, right? Talk to people who were born in England. Ask them if they learned that in school. Ask them the side of the story they learned, and
don't.
it's completely different than what we learned. What they know
Yeah, I
very
think
little
they say
about
like
it.
they gave us.
Yes, exactly. What they do know is that England was like, oh, we're going to give you America now. That's what kids in England learned. But we learned, we fought, price of tea, tax on tea. We fucking threw it in the harbor, and then we fought them, and then we gained our independence. And they're like, oh, yeah, we gave them the land. Like, what the fuck, man? These are like,
Do you know how many
they
presidents?
just. What's that?
Do you know how many presidents we've had in this country? Because that ties into our president conspiracy.
What's that?
Well, how many presidents have we had? What number is Trump?
47.
But he's
Okay,
not.
we had
right?
16 more presidents than that. Yeah.
Under
Uh-huh.
before the U.S. corporation or before. Yeah, we did have other
Right.
presidents before.
Absolutely. There were 16 presidents before Washington, but he was the first one who was a Freemason. And he penned letters saying, I worry that the Illuminati has infiltrated our Freemasonic lodges, right? He writes that. But no one knows this. In March of 1776, one of our people who signed the Declaration of Independence got on a boat, sailed past the British siege and stockade and blockade of America, sailed over to Bulgaria, where in May they signed the Illuminati founding documents, and then sailed right on back past the blockade back here, supposedly landed on July the 3rd.
Ah.
And then what happens July the 4th? We signed our Declaration of Independence.
So,
but they're worried about the Illuminati.
There was how many? So the first president, which we know was, let's go through this.
Washington.
How many were before him?
16.
Don't say so. 17.
See, he was the 17th president.
See, Q is real.
And well, it is, but also he was the most Freemasonic one of all. So, like, yeah.
It is what it is, man.
We just gotta roll with it.
Yeah, there's so much evidence that that's what they plan to do, though. I think the English Empire, they ruled under maritime law, and so they conquered all of these places. So it's a facade that we're not under the king or the queen, because they're under maritime law and we're all corporations. So yeah. we fall under the king and queen too.
You know what? So people ignore this, and what struck me, like I researched and knew a lot of that, Black's Law Dictionary, what they call us, blah, 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 all of that. And then one day I was on an elevator because my grocery store has an elevator. and I was looking at the sign and it said 31 persons. And I was like, why does it say persons? Because if anyone else was saying this, they would say that elevator can only hold 31 people. Why are they saying persons? Because a person is different. A person is a fictional entity set up by them. A person is a citizen. That's not what we are. We're a man, but a person is underneath their ruling. That's why even in elevators and shit like that, it has to say persons because it's legal and it's law and it has to be stated that way. And it's ridiculous that we've never noticed that until we started digging into fucking 9/11 or whatever led us here. It's crazy that common people don't know this, and it's right there in front of your face. No one ever questions why it says persons here, why it says person on your thing, why everything you receive is in all capital letters. You don't write your name in all capital letters. Why is it in all capital letters?
I guess they're
why is the little
occupied.
line on a
Well, you know who
check
does.
actually text?
Ted,
and
I
not
guess
just a
they're
line?
occupied with life. You know, they got kids, they got this to go to that, buy stuff, la la la. They're just trying to get home or whatever, and they
It's
just
that,
press
but
the
it's
button
also
on the elevator and they don't care what it says.
it's also
That's the cop out
generational
answer.
direction to
No,
get
it's a
us to
true one.
there.
Hold on. It is a true one. I wouldn't give a fuck if I'm heading home and the elevator says 13 persons. I'm like, yeah. Just get the elevator here so I can get in. And
Yeah,
don't
but
give a
I don't. What I'm saying is, I don't think we
Yeah.
got there accidentally. I
Oh,
think
no.
they led us there
It's
to
by
where,
design.
Yeah,
we don't give
for
a shit
sure.
about these technical things anymore. We're just, oh, whatever. I have to pay my bills. I got to get home.
Yeah, we are too occupied by life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's kind of
By
how I
design.
got to write that novel, though. Like with the research and finding everything and seeing all of these things, there's so many connections that it's just like I wanted to write a book in a way that it would be able to wake people up to it, and it would be historically accurate and point out all of the lies and where you can tie things, and like that whole aspect with the rewriting of history, how a word carries so much weight, is
Mhm.
actually something that is in the book quite a bit. So to tell the story, I premised the story in 1889. It's the middle of winter, and this old man, he is rich and he charters this boat, hides the name of it. The captain selects like specific people to be on board based on like what they are and who and like what they can do and stuff like that, and like none of them really know, and they're like, we're getting a year's worth of pay for a couple weeks of a voyage, like this is awesome, and they're overstocked, and this old man is going on an archaeological expedition. You don't really find out, so that's like where the book is started, right? And then he's like, well, do you guys know about Captain Cook? And they're like, of course, every sailor knows Captain Cook. Are you ignorant, or do you know something that we don't know? And then that's where like the story ties together. He's like, well, let me tell you about Captain Cook, because he ties to why we're going to Newfoundland, and he ties to what we're going to do. So it's just like this old man on a boat. So you have that whole aspect of their adventure. And he tells the story by picking things in a certain order that'll connect dots, as opposed to tell you like a linear story, like a normal, you know, biography or whatever, goes one at a time. He's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, this theme that happened here ties to something later on. So let me tell you about that. And then they slowly start piecing it together. And like all of the people that are on the crew, they start asking questions. And those questions are the ones that I like posit personally that the reader has at that moment. Like, did that symbol matter? Like, am I seeing a connection here? And like that way, like the reader can get the
I like
story.
that.
And then you have like the true history story, but then you also have all of these conspiracies. So some chapters, it focuses on, mostly with the Cook chapters, are all from his perspective, and they take the conspiratorial aspects and they show you the information. So like there was a letter, the book talks about that letter, right? So it's like tying these things together. Oh, became a Mason. Here's the meeting where it says he became a Mason. And here's the Lodge Lono number 1. Here's the charter, right? So it takes you down that rabbit hole of like what really happened. And then that's all, obviously the conspiracies are tied there, but then the old man explains this is what history records. Now why would you think history records it that way? So like with Antarctica, they almost died, like the people had to have their feet cut off, and they really did, right? So those are physical things that happen, like someone dying at a Trump rally, right? Where you can tie things together. And then when you fast forward, you have all of these other things that are hidden, stories that are tied there. And it kind of leads proof to that aspect of it. So history just rewrites it. Well, how do they do that so easily? Well, the word now, like person, right? Persons could be
Yeah.
something completely different than what it was 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's how you can see in these stories, well, we use this word because it translates better or whatever. They just have to change one or two words, and now the whole thing is go away. My dog's hungry. But then now the whole thing is messed up because people are looking at it and they're like, "Oh, it's a person." They're talking about a fucking boat. They're not talking about a person. But you
Yeah.
don't know that.
Yeah.
So you take the
I mean, it's so easy to rewrite history when you just rewrite the dictionary.
rewrite
You control
everything.
what the word means.
Yeah, they fuck with the words, man. They really fuck with the
They be
words.
fuck. You love
Yeah.
that, Vince.
No, how they
Well, like
turn woke.
vaccines changed what 3 times?
Yeah, yeah, that was interesting how it changed in real time, the definition of vaccine during COVID. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
And that's when we all saw it too.
that's crazy.
Like it was right before our eyes.
Yeah, we all got to see in real time shit changing, and then
But
no one can deny it anymore.
like
So
they
like
took
that,
oh go.
I was just to say they like that. So that book's the 1800s, and it's tying things together, which have implications today. And I'm planning a second book to be after that one, like the early 1900s, which will then have like more references of the same themes, and then build on that narrative. So like book one focuses on the Freemasonic aspects, and then book two can now build off of that to other things. Maybe the Illuminati gets mentioned, or right. And like the goal is to have this idea that's being given to the reader tied logically over time so that I can hopefully start connecting the dots today. The same government, the same people, the same organizations, and then it even goes into bloodlines. So it's like, yeah, there's these real bloodlines that have been around thousands of years, and if you have that blood, maybe you can do magic. Like there's a lot to the
That's
blood.
some
Just
good
look at
blood
Estimate.
right there. Yeah,
I want some of that
that's some
blood.
magic blood. All right, the fuck, fucking wizards.
So, what do you think surprised you the most that you learned when you were looking into this? Because I know you already had your suspicions and stuff, but what was like, holy shit, I never expected that.
So the one thing I never thought was the outer lands, and like he mentions that the people that they do trading with, they never say like, oh, they're Russian, right? The Islanders always describe these people as an action or like a verb, like they're healers, they're gifters, they're stewards, right? Like that's the ultimate word they land on. Is like, well, they're stewards. Well, if you're a steward of the land, you go to someone's house and you take care of all their land, make sure that it's doing okay, and then they talk about these bloodlines. So like there's a tribe of people, and they went there in 1667, and this is the sex for nails scandal. So this is mentioned on the Bounty, I think is what it's called, that movie of that boat, William Blau, where they mutinied. I think that's what it's called, Mutiny on the Bounty. So that's after Cook, but they sailed together, Blau and him. But it's right in the middle, right? And there were these islanders. They say this guy wrote a book about it, that the men were in these certain tribes were 9 to 10 feet tall, and the women were taller. And it talks about it being an ancient bloodline that could tie back to Cain, or like Cain and Abel,
Yeah.
right? Which would be like the serpent seed doctrine. And then you have like the Nephilim, that these stewards brought these islanders to this island to protect them, because like during the Crusades they might have been hunted down and killed, or like there's like Jesuits and the Catholic Church are implicated with Jews, and these ancient timelines, these mentions of books of the Bible, and Noah. Like, how did all that land in these tiny little islands? That's not just by chance. So I think they had to rewrite what actually happened, because if they didn't, I don't know, maybe people would wake up to the lies and the control that they've been under over there for so long.
Damn,
Yeah.
man. That's a fucking lot. That definitely sounds to me like it would track because that's what they do. They lie, they divert, they cover shit up. Anything that can lead us to truth, they have to make this like crazy story about. So when you look into it, it leads somewhere else, anywhere but the truth. So
Tainted. Yeah.
I would think a lot of
And
the
it's
early
even in like religion.
explorers. Yeah, yeah, it is for sure.
You know, like they have you don't like this church, so go up the street and there's a different denomination that, you know, you might agree with. Or
Here in
like you could
Sweden,
become
we got
Hindu
an
or Muslim,
LGBT
right?
church.
Like
Yeah, we got an LGBT church here in Sweden.
Yeah.
LGBT.
Oh yeah, we
Huh?
have
Right.
one here too, and someone jumped
Yeah.
from the roof of it and committed suicide like 2 months ago. So that was
What?
cool.
Okay.
Anyway,
or the church
That's
just Satan or any of these other things, right? Like why put the limit at Christian churches? You know?
yeah.
there's plenty of
Just let it go free, loose. Yeah.
Yeah, so with the story, it's just so wild how many things tie together over all of the different years. One of the things that I mentioned quite a bit is that government has this veil that they kind of want to place over everybody. Because if you're under the veil, you know, life's good. You got your kids, you know, the government's taking care of you. They're protecting you. Believe, you know, believe our news, right? And, you know,
Yeah.
give them bread and circuses and the people will never revolt. But like once you peel the veil back, then you can see the inversion where like good is called evil, evil is called good, and like it's in every aspect of your life. So like that's one of the themes of the book because you can see where Cook wakes up to the veil and the inversion because he's like I'm part of it. Like if I do X, I blind everybody for eternity unless someone can wake up and talk about that. And if I do Y, then I'm going to get killed. So like which choice do I make? You know? And he's like caught between these two worlds. And like the older he gets, the more he writes about it. Like, you know, I'll leave it to those who come after me to judge because I think he was like caught and like, he woke up. But it's like by that point it's too late. You know, it's like, well, you're stuck. You're gonna die either way. So that's why I think he kind of scheduled his death and made a plan
Scheduled it.
and you know, lived happy ever after. Like his whole
Yeah.
death is just a wild hole, right? Like he did a Masonic symbol. Someone records of like you know, he was killed, and then everyone ran away, and then when they came back with an army, you know, like all their Marines to get his body, he was just a pile of bones wrapped in gold. Like, how do you turn a body into bones in like 2 hours? You know, but what do I know? They say it was about 4 hours, but still, you know. So it's like he could have easily went off on the island somewhere. They
And
could
they're like, here's
have
some
easily
bones.
killed one of the islanders or found a local dead man, right? And just like taken that person's bones and wrapped them all in gold and did this, you know, weeks ahead of time. So like, did they really
Yeah,
bury
they
him at
weren't
sea?
DNA
Like, it wouldn't be
testing
that
back
far
then,
fetched to
so-
believe, right? And by doing that, right, and by doing that, he saved not only all of the Hawaii Islands from killing each other, but he also saved both of his boats from being killed when they came back for sailing for Freemasonry. Like his third voyage, like 40% of everybody on that voyage was a Mason at the beginning. And it says he was like holding lodge meetings and like raising Masons at sea. Like, oh shit, you saw that? Ugh. Do you want to die next week by shark attack, or do you want
do you wanna
to
join
become a
the-
Mason and never talk of it again?
It's a hard choice. I don't know what I would decide.
And then like you look at the death. He was the guy who did the impossible and didn't ever have a man die from sickness or illness on any of his voyages. But then you look and you see like, oh well, like
Some
a
voodoo
bunch of people
shit.
did die. What happened? And like none of them have a clear story. So it's like, you learned too much. We only needed you until we got to the island. Sorry, bud,
Yeah.
but you're gonna have to go.
It was
You know,
easier
and
than
like that
paying
happens
you.
over and over.
Just-
Each voyage, scientists die, or a sailor dies, or someone here or there, and it's every boat.
Just killing people left and right. Fucking throwing them out. God damn, man. Our history's so
It wasn't a
fucked
ton
up.
of people. I mean, you're only talking probably like 8 people across 3 voyages and 5 boats, which really isn't that
Oh, that's not
that
hard.
many. It's like 1 or 2 a trip.
It's no big deal.
But
at
every
all.
single one died of like one was eaten by a shark. You know, like the settings
Damn.
are one fell overboard, and then when they pulled him back, he was dead.
What is that?
So
An
it's like I don't
ice
know. They could have
shark?
pushed him and
Yeah.
been like, oh shit, An accident.
Do they have sharks in Antarctic? I guess they have. I don't know. Ice sharks. I don't know.
Ice
Pretty sure they have the
sharks.
Greenland shark down there, don't they?
Yeah. I don't know.
Ice
But
sharks.
that's probably the best way to be eaten by a shark in ice water, right? So you're numb.
Yeah, you're numb.
So when the
It's good.
so when the
All good.
shark eats you, it doesn't feel anything. It's
It's
good.
like getting your ear pierced. You know, you just put a piece of ice
You're
on
already
it,
in
and then you're
shock
all
from the
good.
water.
Yeah, that's the best way to be eaten by a
Yeah,
shark.
so that story is actually pretty wild. So the guy fell overboard. He was bit by the shark, which had been following the boat for several days. Captain Cook grabs a harpoon, harpoons the shark, pulls it up on the boat, grabs a knife, cuts the shark's stomach open, pulls out its heart, and says the lawyer has been paid, and then wraps it in like lead shot in a handkerchief and throws it overboard. And it's like this whole superstition about paying the lawyer, right? When you're going to go to court and be killed for some crime you didn't commit, you have to pay the lawyer to get out of it. So, like, when the shark follows the boat, someone's going to die unless you pay the lawyer. And since they caught the shark, they were able to kill it, cut out its heart. The shark is like the debt collector coming to take
That's
its
a
toll, coming to
persistent
take its
shark
debt.
right there. It's following the
They
boat.
pay they pay the lawyer after they cut its heart out, and now they can sail. They paid their debts, and it ties to like it's right. It's the exact same thing that we have.
Wonder what the
going on
size of
today.
that lawyer's hat was.
Tiny size.
It was a tiny.
You could barely see it.
It's just on the back. Anyway.
Davy Jones wears a yarmulke. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It's very tiny.
Yeah. A yarmulke. Yes.
You can never find
Little
it.
hat.
Yeah. It's a little hat.
Oh God, that's what's happening.
So yeah, the
Anyway.
book follows both of those paths though. So there's 2 stories, and it ends, when Cook dies, gives you like, well, here's a couple theories no one really knows, and then it's like, well, we're here in Newfoundland because of something that happened on the voyage, and then it ends. So you kind of are left on a cliffhanger, and but that story doesn't tie to Captain Cook. The Captain Cook story is done. That's just how I delivered the story to the reader, right? Is you're following this other boat and this other character, and then he explains how he came to this knowledge. And he was a scholar. He looked into Cook. He was to give a little information on him, which really isn't in the book. He was a real person too, and he actually taught at Harvard, right? So there's stories of him going up to Newfoundland during this exact time period. So like I kind of just tie all of these things together, but that's the delivery method for the Cook story. So that way, like the reader's reading a book, and it's not like here's a conspiracy story about Cook. It's like, hey, I'm an archaeologist and a teacher and a scholar. I read all of these books, and here's where I tied these things together. And then it gives you just enough where you can like literally Google some of these things.
Here's what I found. Looking it up.
Do you have the book finished, or is it being finished? Your book.
I'm finishing up the editing, so the book is done. I just have to finish editing it, and then there's like since it's written in like the 1880s, they would make printing plates like during Captain Cook's time of their voyage, where they carve these little plates so that they can print them in like newspapers and stuff. So I'm putting those in the book for each chapter. So that way when you open it up, it feels like you're reading an 1800, printed book, and you can follow through and it tells you the story. So the book's done, the cover's done. I'm hoping to finish editing in like the next week or 2. It's a slow process, got to make sure that I tie all the dots together and make sure that I have a list of stuff to miss.
Sounds like a tedious
I can't miss
process.
this and like right. It's very tedious.
So
but
yeah.
it's like I'll be reading it and I'll be like, oh shit. I'll be like, oh shit, I forgot that happened, like oh, that's saucy. Like
oh damn, my brain was too full of shit. Now I remember this part.
What happens next? Like I wrote the story. It's just there's that much conspiracy. Like you're like, oh, now I need to read the next chapter. Then I look over and it's 4 in the morning. And I'm like, fuck.
I'm so tired of
I have to wake up.
conspiracies. I'm getting tired of conspiracies. You know, I've been waking up since 2006. I'm getting tired of constantly hearing about conspiracies. And yet I can't do anything to stop myself from hearing them. Like I want to hear them even though I hate to hear them. Am I the only one who has this problem?
Yeah, it's like a
There's
train wreck.
conspiracies in everything. That's like
Yeah,
the
I
meme,
know.
isn't it? Like, you're just a conspiracy theorist. You see a conspiracy in everything. And it's like, well, there probably is one. Like, all you need for a conspiracy is 2 people to lie to someone else. Like, that's all you
Yeah.
need for a conspiracy.
And it's
They're everywhere.
tiring. It's tiring.
I'm tired of it, man.
Everything is a conspiracy.
Did you hear about Cheerios, bro?
Do you really know about the Cheerios? Do you really want to know?
That's about where we're at now. Captain Cookie Cheerios. Everything's fucked, man. It's all bad news.
What about Kellogg's? Have you heard about Kellogg's?
Actually, you know, cornflakes were invented to stop masturbation. Look that up because they really were.
Really?
Yeah.
You want a crazy one?
Yeah. I guess. Let's go.
So, so in this research, I found that they would create foods for the voyages for like anti-parasites and stuff. And I ended up finding a recipe for molasses cookies that would last up to 6 months long on the voyages and would kill parasites. So that way when they ate stuff and this and that. So like there's even stuff to parasites in medicine that tie in. So I mean,
a cookie
there's
that
there's
kills
definitely
parasites.
What's in it?
Yes.
What's in the recipe? Molasses. What else?
Well, that's the spices like clove. You could use
there
pumpkin
you go.
seeds for the flour.
Oh, there you go.
So, like, you
Pumpkin
have the pumpkin
seeds are
seed.
anti-parasitic.
So is oregano, thyme.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of different stuff. Cinnamon, you know, and then they would use like maple syrup or honey for the sugar. So they weren't super sweet, which means they lasted longer at sea. They wouldn't go bad. But
it's good. You need some good sea food, but not seafood.
Go away.
Food for
Food
sea,
you can
but
see.
not seafood.
It's food you can see with your eyes.
My dogs wanted to come say hi.
What up, dog?
Well, I think about how would you make food last? How would you make food last on a voyage for 6 months?
I know,
Beef to feed
especially
50
before
people?
canning.
100 people?
It'd have to be like preserved with a bunch of salt,
Salt?
or some shit.
Yeah.
Yep, that'd be the only way.
That's what
that
they would
I
do,
know
salted
back
beef.
then. Yep. Everything tastes like jerky. That's all it is.
Then like they would like the story is they'd have biscuits that they would pack in the barrels and they'd get filled with weevils and you'd knock the biscuit off on the table so all the bugs fall out of it. Drinking water that had maggots in it. Right? That's where the whole grog thing. Like we think of
That's
sailors
nice
being
water.
drunk. And then it's the grog. Well, when you're storing water, you can't drink the seawater. So you have to catch it off your sails or you have to take it with you. Right? So they would have this water that would go bad. Well, how do you drink it? Well, we'll take rum and we'll mix it, 1 part rum, 4 parts water, and that's why they would drink when it says they were drinking grog.
You
It
could also
killed all the
boil it
parasites,
or
all the
distill
bugs.
it. You could do that also. You don't have to pour rum in it. I'm just saying.
But now you have to bring fuel, right?
Oh.
You have to have the fuel to start the fire to distill it. This way you're just drunk, and that way you're not worried that you're pumping for 12 hours.
Let me ask you
You're just on a boat.
a silly question. Why was God so cruel that he made us, requiring water, but most of the water we can't drink? That's pretty fucked up. What do you think? Like
I think it's a
salt water,
condition.
we can't drink
There's-
it. Like we have to
There's
do
4 chapters in the
processes.
book
Yeah.
that go back. So I have 4 chapters in the book that go back to like the ancient times and like the creator and like why and how he created this place, right? And it ties in because the same people who tried to overthrow the creator before we were here, they're doing the same tactics as they're doing today, right? Inversion. Tell people that the good is evil, the evil is good, right? So like there's that theme in there, but like calling God evil for that, I think is
No, but what I mean is
not
like
adequate.
water is like air. We need it almost like air. Like we need water or we die. Yet it's so hard for us to find drinking water. We have to do a bunch
It really
of
isn't though. There's water everywhere. Like
Yeah, but to get it to actually don't kill you,
On
make
a
you
boat
sick.
in the middle of the ocean, there might not be any.
no, that's true. But there's ways of
But
getting water from it.
Yeah, there's
there's
ways,
So, you know,
but you would think there would be some easy way for us to get one of the main things that keeps
Maybe
us
God
alive.
wanted you to stay by your fucking lakes and not go out in the ocean.
But even
not
that,
cross over to other
You have to
continents. Who
work
knows?
to even get.
right?
We don't need to work to get air. We just do
You
this.
didn't back then. Back then, you could dip a fucking thing in the water and drink it because water was clean. Like,
How do I know that?
See, I
Some
think-
fucking goat
I think
shit
this
in
kinda
that
ties
water,
into
and
running water, streams.
This ties into like the flood, though, right? When you look at like Noah, I think science tells us half truths, and that's how they hide the lies, right? So let's say that science says that this was Pangea, we had one big continent, right? Well, maybe they're telling the truth that's just hiding the history. There was one continent, and then all these people did evil things, so God flooded it, right? And now we have salt water, right? It's bitter water. And what does Revelation say? The water will become bitter. You won't be able to drink it. Like maybe that already happened. Maybe it's just giving you a story, a metaphor. Like I don't know.
it's all a story
But
to me.
then-
Yeah.
Then this says that 7 windows of the sky were opened and the waters poured in. Well, how many continents do they say we have now?
7.
7?
Ah,
You know, I think they tell us the truth in their lies.
Yeah.
I really think that that's how they get the science to go over that hump because it's based on the truth. It's rewriting history, but
yeah.
you know,
They do
Yeah, if you
taint
take
shit.
enough of the truth, you can fucking tell a grand lie, spin a great web from a little bit of truth. Because then when people look into the easy part, they're like, "Oh, that's true. I guess the rest
Yeah.
is true then too." Must be.
Yeah.
or they just shove it in your face when you're 4 years old. Your parents get you a little mobile for your crib, and it's got the solar system, you know. And then every time you turn on a movie, you see this big globe spinning in front of you. Universal Pictures,
Dude,
right?
it's
Like
everywhere.
it's right in front of your face.
I've got my wife now going globe every time we're watching a show, calling out a globe, calling out planets, calling out all that. It's in every fucking show.
You see
it's
it.
crammed down your throat. Why do they have to cram truth down your throat that hard? If that's really what it is, and you're just looking up at it, and that's the facts, and that's true, why does it have to be in everything? Why do they have to rename things like Big Bang Theory? Let's make a show out of it because so when people Google that, they get the show and not the actual thing. Because if they read that, they're gonna know it's bullshit. So let's make it where when they Google that, a
It's
show
all
comes
AI
up.
prompt generated.
Exactly.
I have a theory that everything that we know is AI prompt generated. They're like, hey, let's tell a story about George Washington in like 50 or 100 years ago when they had the first AI computer.
The
They were
problem,
like, all right, let's write history about this.
the
Vince
problem
thinks
with
it's
that,
way
Vaughn,
older than that though.
yeah, the problem with that is if you accept that, then why do you have limits to that? Because that could mean the Bible is AI prompted. Anything is AI prompted.
Maybe it
Why
probably
is there a
is.
limit? That's my problem. Like, if you believe that, there should be, like, everything could be now AI prompted.
So let's look at the Bible though, right? So that's one of my favorite ones to talk about. Was it written in English or French or German? No, it was written in, Hebrew, Aramaic, Latin, right? Greek. So now I get to translate this to a different language for you, right? So, you shall not have, any false idols. Well, let's translate that a little differently. You shall not have any graven images, right? Let's translate that a little differently. You shouldn't have any pictures of Satan at your house. Like, and then they can come out with a new translation. Now there's a new interpretation of that, right? Like the pastor can interpret.
But why
it
should we
however they
have
want,
idols in
right?
general, real or false? Like, why should we have idols? I don't
Like,
get it.
that's the positive theory from the Bible, though. When you read what the Creator says, how could you draw a picture of the Creator of the cosmos? Like, I hold it all together while standing next to it, and I can bounce it like a ball. How do you draw me? Right? You're in my image, but like that's
What does that
that's
mean?
the whole thing there.
I always even have an issue with that. Like, man was created in God's image. That's very. You can take that many ways. Many ways.
My joke there is God wouldn't have made himself a biped because we all have back pain. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel that for sure. Fuck, man. Oh God. So
not that like religion is false, but like when you look at like historically, a lot of the stories tie to other stories, like the Greek mythology. If you actually look into it, they're talking about like the Nephilim and the Watchers before the flood. Well, that's
yeah,
in Jubilees and
yeah. What they
Genesis,
call
And then
gods
you look over
are
here,
fallen.
Listen, I want to
right?
believe in
And,
Nephilim,
and
but what proof do we have of Nephilim? I've never seen a Nephilim in my life.
Well, we have proof of giants, and giants allegedly came from the babies of
What
the
proof
Nephilim.
do we have of
bloodline.
giants?
There's giant human
Well, do you
bones
believe in
on record
dinosaurs?
everywhere.
I
There's
don't believe
old
in dinosaurs, no.
there's old newspaper ads of people finding giant human skulls 30 feet tall or human skeletons.
What do you
There's
think
proof
those
of those
bones were, though?
everywhere.
Uh, could be faked. I don't know. I've
So,
never
like,
seen
I
those.
have a theory that these Nephilim, they created paleontology, and now they can take these Nephilim bones and they can lock them away. We got to go study it.
That's exactly
If
why
you
they
read like
created
Jubilees, it talks
dinosaurs.
about right, exactly. But if you read like Jubilees, which was taken from the Bible, I wonder why,
Yeah.
right? It talks about them mixing genetics, right? I think they were mixing plants and humans and animals and plants. And like when we see like a griffin or like a minotaur or like all of these crazy mythological stories, I think those were real things at some point in time. And that's why the earth had to be flooded. Now we're like pulling up these skeletons out of the ground, which no one knew existed for thousands of years. They never dug one up in the Bible times, right? And that's because we're pulling them up and we're trying to dissect it, and they have to tell you a great lie. Oh yeah, we used to like play with genetics, and this is a half human bird monkey that raped all the little villagers or something.
No, they're gonna be like, this was a
Bird monkey.
pterodactyl, and it was a giant reptile flying, and yeah, that's what that
It
is.
evolved into a
Yeah.
chicken, right?
I agree with that, though. I think they were
Modern day chickens come from
messing with
dinosaurs,
DNA
right?
and splicing. Yeah, I know. Dinosaurs are extinct, but also they turned into chickens. Just both somehow. And they got feathers somewhere along
Right.
the way. And all
This world is all full of shit, people, man.
It is.
This
They're
is
lying
just-
to you to
this
cover
is a world
up real
of
truths.
lies. A world of lies.
See, my favorite thing with dinosaurs is when you go to like one of those museums and you walk through and they got the skeletons. If they have a triceratops, I have my favorite question is to ask like the highest up person I can find in the museum. Like, is your manager here? Is your GM here? Like, who's your historian? I'll ask them if they know that Triceratops never existed. Their own dinosaur model says that dinosaur everyone loves was the baby of a different dinosaur called the Torosaurus. And no one knows that? You're the historian? How do you not know that? So you have this fake toy here that's completely fake. And you admit it and you don't even know it.
It's all fake. It's all fake. There weren't giant lizards that were taken out by a meteor. It just didn't happen. Sorry. It didn't
I mean,
happen.
how do you know that, Ted?
Because space isn't real, so no meteors came down. Because
I mean,
there
I
would
have
be-
to play devil's advocate. I don't believe
Okay,
in dinosaurs, but what if
I
they
know.
did
So
go
if
extinct?
dinosaurs existed millions of years ago, why was no dinosaur bone ever found until after someone hypothesized the existence of dinosaurs in the 1800s? So all through the
100
Mayan
years
times, all through the
to
Egyptian
the
times,
day.
all through all of
Well,
this,
most
and
of them
none
melted
of them
away.
ever found a dinosaur bone. The Egyptian temples don't, or the
I know, but
fucking things don't have dinosaurs
99%
carved in them.
99% got melted away in the lava.
So no one else ever found them, but then all of a sudden people started finding them everywhere.
Yeah, there was residue left, some
All over the
residue
place.
of bones.
Come on, bro. Come on.
What?
Come on.
See, I think it ties into like the climate change, right? If we lived on
Yeah,
a
it
table
ties into
and the
that
sun
shit,
was
yes.
over a certain part of that table at a time, you're going to have lands that are outer that you can't live in because they're too cold. You're going to have lands that might be too hot that you can't live in.
Do you
right?
think
There's going to be things
Huh?
going on. I mean, I think that now we're coming over here and they have to make up the story about dinosaurs. They haven't been here. Pick them all up and hide them from the next generation.
Yeah.
Except we lost like almost everything you just said. Fuck, man. You sounded like a robot
Is
for
it
like
breaking
10
up?
seconds. Yeah, it was all broken up. I didn't understand a word you said, man.
He said
Just
something.
saying, like if there's extra continents, and the sun's moving around them, some of them might be frozen and we can't live there.
Yeah.
So that's why we
Or
don't
there
know
are
about
more
these other
suns.
lands.
Maybe there are more. Maybe there are two more, like a sun and a moon over there too, spinning around over there.
I think there are for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. We don't know. I don't really believe there's like another sun or
Why
another
not?
place we can go.
How
I
the
think
fuck
it's
do they
one
live
realm.
over there then?
I think so. I what I think it is it's a realm, and it's just a lot larger than what we think, right? So our little local sun keeps us nice and warm where we are, but what it is maybe they don't need the sunlight like we do. Maybe they're like a little bit different. Maybe it's the sun moves around like the Prague clock, and there's lands that we can migrate to, and that's why we say like, oh, 10,000 years ago we came across this strait over here, and right. Well, what if like 10,000 years ago it was warm, right, and the sun's just moving back to where it was 10,000 years ago, which is why we can
Maybe they don't even feel cold, even though it's like 2,000 minus.
I personally think that yes, the great year is a true thing. So the sun's moving around right now. It's here. It's basically going like this. But in the center, where the sun always touches, that's what the stories refer to as the Garden of Eden. One place where it's always in this grand condition where
Absolutely.
the sun, in that great year, the sun always touches there at some point. Who knows where the fuck that is, because our geography isn't true. They change our times twice a year to throw us off. They fuck with everything, so we can never know exactly where we're supposed to be and where we are. But that's what I think. I have no proof. That's just what I think.
So yeah, I agree. I agree completely on that. And like, what if I always say this when people say like about the North Pole and being in the center or whatever? I like to say, what if the North Pole is a corner of a table and that's where all of our compasses point, right? As opposed to like the center and we go around it. Like we might not know what's actually going on.
Oh
no.
Oh no. Well, should we finish his thought? We don't actually know what's going on. Maybe the North Pole is like the
There you okay.
Now you're back.
That was weird. It all refreshed. What did you last hear?
Maybe
The North
we don't
Pole,
know what's going on, but
the table, the North
But
Pole
blank.
is like the corner of a table.
Like a table. Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about tables.
I mean, like I said, it's one of those
Just
things.
kidding.
I don't think people know what's really going on, and there's so much to the entire world that no one person's going to figure it all out. And that's how they get you by the balls, because you have to really research, and then everyone else just thinks you're crazy because you believe something that no one else has ever thought about or looked into.
Yeah, I agree. That's how they want us. They want us thinking anything outside the box is crazy. That way, if anyone ever thinks outside that box they want us in, they immediately get ridiculed by everyone and try to go back in the box. Some people do go back in the box. Some people don't. So
Dualistic, yeah.
And then you have like the people who are really low on the bell curve of intelligence, and that they're calling you stupid and retarded because you believe some nonsensical bullshit, right? That's how they get you. The NPCs start attacking you because you stepped outside of their little matrix, their code. You broke out of their veil.
They can't handle that. You're different than me. You don't believe the narrative. What is wrong with you?
Google says that red dye 40 is safe and it doesn't cause ADHD. You're wrong, right?
Yeah. Vaccines are great.
They are. They
Shoot
work.
me up, bro. So do you have a? I got cut out when I asked before. I think. Do you have a date when you think the book will be released?
I'm hoping to have it like actually available in like the next 2 to 4 weeks. That's kind of the goal. I just need to get the editing done, and then it's like a 7 to 10 day process from there. So
I think you should release
it
on the real new year, bro. Beginning of April, the real new year.
April 1st.
The real new year. There you go.
When you're an
it's
April
actually
Fool.
starting. Yep. For believing it. For believing that it's actually the quarter into a year.
That'd be a good. That would be a good release date, wouldn't it? Go public that day.
April 1st. There it goes.
You're an April Fool if you don't know the truth, right? Because that's where that comes from, right? They changed the calendar. New Year's was April 1st when all the plants were growing, and then they changed it to January when it's cold and everything's dead,
Yeah,
right? And if you still
sucks.
celebrate a New Year on April 1st, like I do, you're an April Fool. New Year was 4
Yeah.
months ago, man. What are you doing?
You fool? Let's
Dude.
make a whole day after you.
That's what they did.
That's exactly what they did. It's
Yeah.
insane. Throwing you off in every way
Mother-
possible.
Did you not know that, Vance?
No, I know that they fucked with the calendar, but the whole thing about April Fools, you know, that's a smart idea. To you know, if anybody were onto this whole calendar thing, you're an April Fool. Like the Weaver, Satan, whoever it is a smart motherfucker. I'll just give that. Fucking smart, intelligent being.
Well, if you go
Really.
back to the beginning of time, like the creator in the book, I say, like the creator built this celestial architecture to hold everything together, right? And there's a rule called the rule of absolutes, right? Because I built this birdhouse, you now have the ability to come destroy it, right? Because I have the ability to destroy it because I made it. So it's like an absolute rule that applies to everyone. It's like ultimate freedom. Like he could have created a bunch of Tesla robots that did whatever he said. Yes, Lord, I'll create that for you. But he wanted to be able to talk to the creation, see the creation, you know, and interact with them. So, sorry, my wife's bugging me. But so he created this place so he could interact with everybody, and in doing so, you could either choose that this whole world is a prison and you were made, and because you were made you have to live and do all of these things. But what the devil did at the beginning was he posed like, well, what if it's not created perfect to like have you worship and glorify and be thankful? What if it was created because you're needed to keep the creation going, right? And you're in a prison, kind of like telling a starter on a car that they don't need to be on the car anymore. You take the starter off, you're never going to start the car. And then like a third of all of the angels, all of the suns and moons and stars, they all decided that they were in a prison and decided to stop doing what they were doing. And then that's in the Bible. It says when the suns and the moon and the stars decided to not go their transit. So what did he do? He locked them all in hell. Right? So like all of these things are down there in hell because they chose a prison world. They woke up to the illusion. Here we are in 2025, if you don't think the calendar's wrong, doing the exact same thing, right? Living in that same little world where people believe they want the prison. They don't want to wake up. Don't take my Girl Scout cookies from me, you know?
Yeah.
My McDonald's.
Need my Thin Mints. Can't
Yeah.
take away my Thin Mints.
Yeah, you know me, I'm not religious. I don't think I ever will be, but I do believe in a creator. I do. But it's just like, why do I have to? Also, another thing I don't like with religion, not to go into this, why do we have to have middlemen? Why can't I not have a connection straight to God? What's up with the middle guy, man?
You don't need.
We
a
never
middle
liked
guy.
the middle guy, anyways, in everyday life either. Why does God
That's where
have to have
man
a middle?
steps in, though.
Huh?
That's where man steps in. That's where the story is inverted. They control it, right?
Yeah, we
like,
don't need a
oh,
middleman.
you don't know how to read Latin. Let me tell you what the Bible says, right? And that's
Even
how they
if I
get them.
can't-
That's the earthly aspect.
I mean, I shouldn't even be required by God to know the language of Hebrew to communicate with God. Like, there should not be any. What are we doing here?
There isn't.
Can I just talk to God
There really
through my
isn't.
head? Like,
You can, and that's how you should do it. All
Well, then
religions are
that's-
nonsense in my mind.
that's what I do.
Right. Absolutely.
Then that's what I do. Then
Exactly. I'll never go to, if I need to talk to God, I'm never going to go, oh man, I got to go to church and speak to the pastor or my priest.
ding
No,
dong.
that makes zero sense to me. I'm not
Right.
going to go to speak
Can
to
I talk
another
to God?
foul man to talk to God. That's not how it works in my
Is
mind.
God home? No, he's
That's
busy.
how they get you.
Yeah.
Like look at doctors, right? a doctor wants to save people's lives. So they go to school for 8, 12 years, and then they go out and they have to do like a 4-year internship and learn how to actually cut people open or save their lives. And then they're allowed to go out and do what? To practice being a doctor.
Practice.
Right? Like you think at some point you should have it mastered, right? Like a mason, you become an apprentice, and then you become a person who's a master.
He's
and then
stuck
you
in
can
the
go out,
practice.
and when you actually become a third level, like in Freemasonic, they say there's 3 levels, right? Apprentice, and then I forget the middle one. It's like an active person who can go out. They called it a free Mason because you were free now. You're no longer an
To be a
apprentice.
Mason.
You're free to go to other states and go do masonry. It was a license you'd get. And then when you were good enough to be able to teach other Masons, you became the 3rd level where you're now a master Mason and you can go teach other people. It's the exact same premise that they apply to religion. Right? We're going to change the words. We're going to change what it means. We're going to pick our dogma that we want to push onto you, all based off of truth, right? There obviously is a creator. You know what I mean? Like there obviously is stories. There's history. And the Bible's right a lot of times on where things are and what happened and what you'll find if you dig under that rock. And they're right every single time because they have to give you a spoon feed you 5 or 10%. That's historically accurate. That's provable, geographical. And then the rest of it, well, all you just have to do is have someone come in. I study this my whole life, guys. Let me teach you about God and the Bible based on what I studied. And then you have to have a license to do it now, right? To be a free priest, you have to have a free license.
Really?
You're no longer an intern.
Can I not
But in
just
this
read the
exact
Bible
same Bible-
and become a priest?
Not a priest, no.
What?
No.
Hold on.
Yeah. Any religion.
So do I have to
So
go
now you're a
into
level 2.
priest school?
What happens when you become a master?
No. I'm serious now.
Yeah.
Let's say I want to read
Unless
the Bible.
you
I
start your
read.
own denomination. The only way you can do it on your own is if you start your own denomination, but it won't be chartered. You won't be able to get the 501c3 status.
See, this
you have
is
to go
bullshit.
through the corporation of the government license.
This is bullshit. This
so
is
you can
absolute
start your
bullshit.
own, but it's the same thing they do with the doctors, the lawyers, now the priests, right? You become an apprentice, you study, you go out, you do your.
So there is
your-
a school
your
for the priests,
apprenticeship.
I guess.
Yeah,
Then you
it's
get
called a
license.
seminary.
Then you get a license.
It's where
You're now a
Jonah
level
went,
2
bro.
priest, and you can go out and you can accept someone.
How
you can
much do
accept
they
a
make?
church somewhere teaching what we
How
want.
much
you
do
to-
they make?
It depends on the church. You got George Olstein making millions, but then you got like the little, guy up the road getting paid $50 per sermon.
$50 per sermon. How many sermons a month?
There's
Four.
Start to see it as a job. 4 times 50. That doesn't cut it.
it's all
Then
different.
you do a
so
wedding, you get
priests,
$100.
A wedding. Perfect. How much? $100
Depends.
only.
Ours was $100.
Fuck,
ours was
man. We
$100
need more people
for my wife
marrying.
and
Okay,
But
what
then
else? do
now
we
you
do?
have nuclear families again. They don't want nuclear families. They don't want people getting married.
What else gigs does the priest have? Is it called gigged? Gigs.
Baptism.
I feel like you're getting
Baptism!
very mixed up. You're getting very mixed up here on priest and the thousands of
No, I'm
other
thinking about
things
becoming
there
one.
are. Oh yeah, Jesus.
Right.
I'm sure
What?
you are.
You
Well, like I
can't
said,
see
the
me as a
book wants
priest.
you to connect the dots. Right? The book wants you to be able to see. They do this with doctors. They do this with, the people who hold information, teachers, lawyers, government employees. Like it's the same process everywhere, and it's nothing new. Like
Yeah.
if everyone picks that out of the story, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Because it's the same playbook. I mean, we
Is
can talk
there a
about any
higher-
conspiracy topic. in this
Is there a
playbook.
higher level than priest, or is priest the highest level in the church?
It depends on the church.
Ah.
It depends. So, like some
Is it-
denominations,
You're
priest is
talking
the
about-
highest. You're going to do your own thing.
Is it the Grand
Well,
Master priest?
there's a pope. The pope is above.
No,
if
no,
you're
no,
talking
I know about the Pope.
priests,
But below the Pope, something more reachable for us regulars.
Bishop, cardinal.
Yeah.
Can I
there's
become
lot
a
of-
Grand Master priest? Or what is
No.
it?
That's the KKK. That's
Ah.
Well,
It's a
they have
little different.
supposedly, 7 different popes? They have the red pope, the green pope, the black pope.
How
the yellow
much
pope,
does the
white
Pope make? That's what I want to know.
Dude's talking about papal salary over here.
So now we're asking the right question.
He has a lot of gold, probably.
Oh god.
Bishops, thank you. Maybe bishops.
We
Is
already
bishop
said
higher?
bishops, cardinals.
Ah.
He said that. There's
Ah.
yes, there's
It
multiple
was lost.
levels.
Yeah. Okay, bishop.
Okay, bishop.
How much do they
But it
make?
depends on the church. See, like a lot of people will say things like, my dad was a Freemason, right? And all he did was go play cards at the hall. And I tell those people, like, well, he probably couldn't have been trusted with important news. So, yeah, that was all it was for him. But they get you as an apprentice and they can study you. Then when you move up, they decide, well, can he be trusted with more information? So, like, the book says that Cook was a level 2. So they had 3 levels. First is apprentice, 2 is level 2, where you can go out and be a free mason, and then the masters become level 3, where they teach the craft, the trade, to other masons. And it's the same premise.
What about the contained
for all of
masons?
Yeah. The locked up masons.
What do you mean?
What about-
contained?
not free ones, he's saying.
Like, oh yeah, you're
They're
a
still
Freemason.
apprentices.
Ah, okay, that's what they are. Okay. I'm just fucking around with the words and shit. This sounds funny. Freemasons. As if
That's
there are.
that comes from the Masons themselves. That is what they say about the different levels. That there's not 33. Those are honorary titles, which is true, but there's only 3 levels to Masonry. So
Only 3.
it's really one of those questions. How true is everything that we know? How true are the lies and the conspiracies?
Listen, Juan, I'm
tell
ready
people,
to.
everything you.
Yeah, go.
Okay,
I was just.
tell
yeah.
people everything you believe. We're talking over each
It's
other.
the delay.
Everything
It's the
you
delay.
believe is held by faith alone,
Yes.
right? You have to hold it as faith. Maybe you don't think there's a God. So you have to believe in this information that there is no God, science, whatever it is.
Yeah. I'm just ready to surrender to everything. I'm even open for that nothing is real, but it feels real. And yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Simulation theory.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Oh, Vince
It's real.
thinks everything.
It's not real. Blah, blah, blah. Who the fuck knows at this point? I'm just, you know what I'm looking for now? Just simple laughter. That's my goal. My purpose is
Have kids and a wife.
pursue. That's necessarily not all laughter. I pursue laughter.
Great.
That's a simple, objective. How much laughing can I have in this existence? That's a good thing to go
I'll
at.
start sending you some stuff. But it's
Yeah.
funny that you mentioned there, before we wrap up, you mentioned there's only 3 degrees of masonry. Something people use in their lives every day, but they want to act like masonry is not a real thing. You ever heard someone say, "You're giving me the 3rd degree"? Where the fuck do you think that comes from? Because when you become a 3rd degree Mason, that's when they go through all the questioning and breaking you down. What do you say when someone says you're giving me the 3rd degree? It's because you're asking them a ton of questions. That's where that comes from. Everyone uses it, has no clue that's where it comes from. It's right there in front of you. Right in your face. So
That's good.
Absolutely.
you have anything
Well, they tell
else?
you partial truths. They tell you right
They
before your
do.
face.
That's
do.
what they do. Everything, because you can't sell a lie without some truth, I don't know what that is, but
Right.
okay.
It's
I
in the
don't know.
movies.
What is it?
They call it political theater, right? You got to vote. You got to go vote because it's political theater. Left and the right wing of the same bird. They got it when you go
Here
off
comes-
to war.
here
to
comes
fight
the
these
dark
wars.
pill.
Let's go send
Here comes the
men.
black pill one.
Right.
I mean,
Send your biggest.
to be fair, I've been
best
black
men.
pill too in this stream. Yeah.
Holy shit.
But they send these men off to die in the theater of war. And they tell you
Yeah.
right with the words right in front of your face every single day.
Yeah.
Yep. It's right there. It's all fake and gay. We all know that.
Gay and fake.
All of the above. So, is there anything else
Fake and gay.
about Captain Cook that you think people should know before we wrap up? Or what's the cliffhanger of your book leading into the second one? or what else do you want to say?
Well, I love the story. There's so many rabbit holes. So anyone that's like fascinated with rabbit holes and conspiracy, there's so many different ones wrapped up. And then it's written as like a fly on the wall. So you kind of are like following them around. So I try to make it more than like a conspiratorial book or like a a timeline of events. I wanted to make it something captivating and engaging. So like every time you finish a chapter, you want to read the next one and see what happens. Then it's bouncing around between these two timelines and it's telling you the truth versus the history versus the conspiracy, or like what was really written. So it's not necessarily a book about Cook, right? Because that's like you can get stuck on that topic. It's a historical fiction, but it's also a nonfiction because everything in this book came from real letters, real journals, real things that people found or discovered, and it's just connecting the dots for you and then showing you how it was like hidden, how they lied, and those are the same things that they do today. And one of them is, with Pfizer and the vaccine, Pfizer sued to have their 55,000 pages of documents sealed away for 75
Oh
years.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, why would you do that if you had something to hide and you
Yeah.
wanted to, hide it away until the people were dead? Well, Sir Joseph Banks, the honorary 33 degree, he interviewed everyone on the third voyage. He took all their belongings and their writings, and he sealed them away, most of them for 100 years in his private collection. And some of them weren't even read until 93. Long 1980 to 1923, that's 150 years. And now they're a hoax, someone planted them, so they hid all this information away for 100
Yeah.
years plus, just so that they could hide it in front of your faces. And like the goal is for this story to teach you about history. Captain Cook, sure, to teach you how to look at history, right? You want a different lens so that you can actually see like where they might be lying, that there's 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 or 5 stories, right? We picked this man to tell the story, but it could have been someone else. And to actually be able to like dissect things in the real world, right? News, lies, numbers, symbols.
I'm starting to think
That,
the problem
what
is
do they
with
call that, the red pill?
stories. Stories are the problem. I wish stories was never invented because there's a bunch of stories everywhere. Stories
Like
there,
what?
story there. A story within a story and a story, and another person's view of that story and the story and the story and the story and the story. Bunch of fucking stories.
How do we get rid of stories?
Well, they have to tell
Vince?
stories. Though.
Yeah, how do we stop telling
They have to
stories?
tell stories.
Now we
Well,
need to
we're
stop
to
with
believe that
stories
at some point
altogether.
they
Fuck
couldn't
all
write.
stories.
You couldn't write on paper. So how did they tell stories? They had to tell the story so that you could
I
remember
can't even
it, so
tell
you
the
could tell the
story
next
about
person.
me and Ted's talk a few days ago. I can't even give an accurate story about what me and Ted talked about a few days ago. How the fuck do they keep an accurate story of anyways, I'm out of the stories. I'm
Well, that's the question. How did they do it? Like,
how
really?
did they do it? If
They
maybe
tell
they
us all
made
these
them up.
stories.
Maybe they
You're
made them
writing
up
it
because
down.
that's what I would
Right.
do if I don't remember. I would make shit up.
That's pretty much what they did.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the point.
Let's create more stories, people.
They still do it today.
They do daily, even.
You get online. It's on. You could just swipe story nowadays in social media. Like it's
Stories,
nonstop.
man. Everywhere you go, stories. Fuck. Tasking. Think
Yeah.
about all these stories.
Yeah, the ultimate goal. When I came to that point where it was like a breaking point, where it's like if I read one more conspiracy about Captain Cook, I'm gonna like literally go buy a sailing boat and
See,
sail off
even
to
you
the
have that
Pacific
problem.
myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when it got to that point, it's like you just connect one more dot to one more conspiracy to something else today, and it's like, dude, they've been doing the same thing forever. And I said, I have to tell the world this story, and hopefully someone can see a connection.
See,
and
you're
get
part of the
entertained at the same
problem,
time.
Vaughn. You're part
Yeah.
of the problem. You're
Great way to
I
host the
have-
podcast, Vince. Let's bring an author on and tell him stories of shit.
No, you know me. I'm retarded.
Fuck.
It'll
I'm
be a really good
retarded.
podcast.
Listen, Vaughn, you know I'm retarded, okay? So I just say retarded
Have you ever
stuff.
seen the movie Sideways?
Which movie?
Sideways is what it's called. It's about like two guys drinking a bunch of wine.
No, I haven't.
No.
What is it about?
In that movie, the one guy is an author, and he writes a book, and he's working on it, and he can't get it published. And he's talking to like this guy's dad, and he's like, "What do you do?" He's like, "I'm an author." He's like, "Oh, fiction or nonfiction?" And he goes, "Oh, I write fiction." He said, "Fiction? Who would want to read that shit? Like, something somebody just made up." Like, and I think about that because it's like, who would want to read a book about something that someone just made up? But
I mean,
but there's
people do it every
NPCs out
day.
there who that's all they can read. I need that
every
fantasy.
day.
It has to be make believe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anymore. I don't know. Maybe stories are good. Maybe life is a story. Maybe
they're
I'm just
entertaining.
completely wrong.
I mean,
Yeah.
You're a storyteller. Podcasts are the new form of story.
I suck at stories, man. I really do. I don't even know if I have a story to tell you. Nothing comes to
I
my
just love
mind.
words. So like I
That's it.
love being able to like rewrite something so that you feel it. Charles Bukowski, he's like a real famous like drunk sad author, and he writes intellectuals tell a simple thing in a hard way, and artists tell a hard thing in a simple way. And I just like really love that about like being able to storytell, like knowing words and like knowing everything that's going to happen so you can like articulate it in a way where you feel, touch, taste the story. Like that's kind of like how I like to write things. So like when it's like, oh, there was a gale coming over the starboard and different things, like like the air tasted like salt, and like adding that kind of stuff just engages your mind, and it puts you like on
Yeah,
the boat.
I get it. Because you're
Story,
describing, to the brain, like, because there is no picture, so the words is describing the scene, like the water was cold, this, that, whatever. Yeah, the stone was over there. Like, you're describing shit so that the reader, projects a picture in their head, right? Like
in their mind, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to have details, even if it sounds gay, in how you describe the things, in such detail.
It sounds gay, just go with it.
The smell of the rose hit his
Just sounds
nostrils.
gay.
Yeah, it just sounds gay when you describe it into detail, but I get it. That's what book reading is about. So, it's gay. That's what books. I'm
Books
just
are
kidding. I'm
gay.
just kidding, man. Everybody's so fucking sensitive.
Books are gay.
Take it easy.
Well, the book
Take it
comes
easy.
before the screenplay, right? They got to turn
Yeah.
it into a movie or something. You have to have something
Exactly.
with detail.
The book is
How
the
it's supposed to
code.
feel like.
Yeah.
Then
it's
they
the
can turn
code
the
of the
book
movie.
into a movie.
That's
Then-
true.
Then we can watch it.
That
Then
would
it'll
be.
a
I
good
think.
story.
I think. Yeah, I think the Captain Cook movie or the Captain Cook mini series or something would be phenomenal, because there's so many loopholes, and it's just like grabs you by like, whoa, what's gonna happen next the whole time.
Get on it. You got to start a mini series now once you finish the book. That's the next
And then a
step.
cartoon. Then make a cartoon.
Okay.
Why not? Just
I was
tell
thinking
AI.
like a 2-season Netflix series.
Yeah, just tell AI to make a cartoon about Captain Cook.
Just
I guess
tell
it-
it.
Everything's
Just tell
AI
it.
now. There's no more people. There's no
Make a
more
cartoon
internet.
about it.
We're all
There's
fake.
no-
Everyone
it's
uses
over.
AI.
It's over. It's
Done.
all
Just give
over.
up.
I can't believe I turned black
What?
pill.
You swipe and you watch a video. You're like, oh my gosh, is this real? And then you have to ask AI to tell you if that video was AI.
And then
before
how
you
do you
accept
trust
it,
it for it to tell
Yeah.
Right.
It's all fucked. But all right, we're gonna have to wrap it now. But one conspiracy on. Hold on. I think I have you here. Hold on. Do you see this?
Got it pulled up? No. Now we do.
Can you pull it up, Ted? Because I'm
Yep.
lost.
Oh, you got your finger on the button. So yeah, check him out on Twitter. We'll put his link underneath the episode for sure. And as soon as you got your book out, I will post the link for everyone to go buy it. I assume it'll be on Amazon and all that fun stuff. That's usually the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
At least so I've heard from past
absolutely.
people.
I want to put it on. I want to put it out in Australia for sure, because he's like their Christopher Columbus. So I'm trying to find a publishing
shit.
company to put it in all the different countries that he discovered, right? So that's kind of the goal right now.
That's awesome. So yeah, let us know when it's out and we'll help push it. We'll put all your links underneath this. Don't forget to go to phoneboothpodcast.substack.com where
And
you got
also-
a shit ton of podcasts. Go to canambullion.com. Get yourself some gold, silver, or platinum coins or bullion if you want to make it in large orders. Talk to our boy Mike. It comes to your house in a nondescript package. No one will know what it is. It'll get there. Don't worry about it. Wince.
Peace out. Peace out,
Thanks
one.
for joining us, dude.
Peace.
Great time. Good night,
Yeah,
everybody.
thank you.
Peace.